Welcome to the Virtual Stab Comedy Theater. It's time for the Suzette Veneti Show. Please welcome to your screen, Suzette Veneti. Uh-oh, it decided to restart on me. Sorry about that. All right.
The dance party.
Yeah. We'll just do the whole thing again. Suzette Veneti!
Hey everybody, thanks for tuning in to the Suzette Veneti Show. It's 5:04, but really we started at 5:03, which is our regular time that we start at every day all the time. The song just looped twice. We have a full show for you today, and we have actually in studio one of my favorite comics, Emma Haney, who is sharing her sushi with me off screen. So it's pretty lit in here with some sushi rolls, yeah. I'm digging it. This is a good show. I just wish the monologue was going to be as good. Okay, here we go. Kanye West found himself... Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't say the date and time. So it's September 13th. It's 5:04. It's a Sunday in September. So what do you have to do in 2 months? Vote. Please vote. Okay, thanks. Bye. Don't leave, though. Stay for the show. Okay, here we go. Kanye West found himself in the hospital recently with an injury he explained came from too much texting. He then said he was treated with a, quote... Whittle lidocaine, end quote. Pleased with the pain relief, he celebratorily captioned the whole thing, bruh, modern medicine. Next week, Kanye's going to get some sandwiches made for him and marvel at sliced bread. Republicans are trying again to cancel Netflix, this time because of Cuties, a French film about the pressures of girlhood. Conservatives everywhere, and QAnon specifically, want the film off of Netflix, out of existence, and the story not told. But here's the thing. According to The Verge, a Netflix spokesperson said, Cuties is a social commentary against the sexualization of young children. It's an award-winning film and a powerful story about the pressure young girls face on social media from society and generally growing up. And we'd encourage anyone who cares about these important issues to watch the movie. But conservatives don't want to watch the film, so I guess they disagree with the commentary against sexualization of young children, which, as the internet pointed out, the conservatives would much rather watch shows like Toddlers and Tiaras and shows that just sexualize and publicize young girls instead of doing something like talking about it in a way that we should learn about it and, you know, learning about stuff that girls shouldn't have to do, that women shouldn't even have to do. So go conservatives, I guess. I don't know where you're going with this. You're weird. Original Aunt Viv, a.k.a. Dark Aunt Viv, real name Janet Hubert, forgave Will Smith after 27 years of feuding, which is about how long it looked like she would need after that dance scene. You know, the one from the episode. She was tired. Kansas City Chiefs fans booed the Chiefs and the Texans during their display of unity. But the idea of unity was booed. But really, this isn't the idea of unity being booed so much as social justice that's being booed by Kansas City. Fans showed up during a pandemic to boo unity and social justice during a moment of silence. And I've read that some Kansas City fans are like, no, they were cheering, and the cheering sounds like it sounds like boos because that's how they cheer in Kansas City. Here's the thing, guys. It was a moment of silence. So don't make any noise. Just be silent. So you're either idiots or you're racist or both, but you got to be one of the three. Or two. I don't know how that works because I'm blonde. Where were we? Oh, I just wanted to know who gets dressed up for an outdoor event, pays for football tickets, pays for the football game parking, gets in the car, drives to the game, wears a mask, sits socially distanced at a football game just so you can boo social justice? Who are you, Kansas City Chiefs fans? What's wrong with you? A 62-year-old gave birth. Right? That'd be weird. Let me keep going. A 62-year-old ball python laid a clutch of eggs after not being around a male snake for 15 to 30 years. So here's the deets, guys. She may have been in a bucket during cage cleanings. Romantic, am I right, ladies? With a male snake 15 years ago. But it's more likely that she hasn't had snake sex in 30 years. Snakes can reproduce asexually, and I wish I didn't know that, to be honest, right? You guys should see Emma Haney's face. She agrees. Yeah. Or I read that they can store the sperm inside of them for decades. I know, right? Child support would be out of hand if that was the thing. Anyway, if you're paying attention, snakes can lay eggs without having sex, even at age 62. And I'm terrified by all of this. Texas police groups put up a billboard outside Austin saying, "Enter at your own risk," while the mayor of Austin seeks to follow Denver's model of sending mental health professionals to nonviolent 911 calls. Opposition calls defunding the police, or opposition of defunding the police, mostly police officers, are hoping not to be defunded. But not only because they need like more missiles and tanks and like grenade launchers, but also because billboards cost a lot of money, and they just put one up. So please don't defund them, said Austin police. Hearing "I love you" from their owner makes doggies' heart rate skyrocket by 46%. And in a related story, just literally hearing anyone say, "Suzette, I love you," and then kissing me goodnight would also make my heart skyrocket 68%, 46%. So, I love you. Yes, yes, more sushi. Thank you. Oh my God, guys, I'm in love today. Yeah. Which one's spicy? This one. Okay.
You take the tail. You've earned it.
Oh, thank you. I got the tail, guys. Okay. Do you want to say hi to the audience?
Hi.
No, like with your face.
No.
Oh. Okay. I'm making a mess. Jimmy Carter revealed this week that his son Chip smoked weed with Willie Nelson on the White House roof in the 1970s while Carter was president. Why can't that be like the worst thing happening in the White House now? I wondered. Okay. I think I cut my lipstick on, which is talent. Thank you. Thank you. Trump has been calling veterans or veterans that were wounded or killed in battle and prisoners of war losers and suckers, which has seen his support from former military members, which is like crazy because he relies on that for like his voting base. But hey, I don't know. This past week, he ordered a special flag to honor Palmia members removed from the White House flagpole. The flag represents all soldiers wounded in battle and missing service members, of which there are still 82,000 American service members missing from World War II. I'm watching this one. Trump is actually doing something that will alienate his voting base. Chris Evans, famous for having America's ass, accidentally posted a dick pic on Instagram. The pic was an accident, but now everybody's saying not only does he have America's ass, he has America's dick. But I'm saying, Captain America, that vibranium shield can't cover everything, hun. We saw. And lastly, not a joke, but IamAvoter.com is a great website, you guys. You can go there and you can get registered and check your registration status if you need to. You can even sign up for election reminders, and you can get merch, and you can sign up to vote by mail. And IamAvoter.com, if you want, I'll rock your merch on the show, but you gotta like send it to me first because I asked Dutch Brothers too, and they didn't do it. So like, get on this body. I'm trying to help you sign up people to vote. Also, wear your masks. Okay, and with that, we're gonna start all of the stuff. And okay, cool. We're gonna bring in the regular contributor that's always leads us off with the hot goss, right? Yeah. Feels familiar. Yeah, Emma Haney has a show about gospel. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Anyway, this friend of mine and one of my favorite people always brings the hot goss. He's fantastic. He's fabulous. Peers and queers, give it up for Clifton Ellison.
Hey, Suzette, how you doing?
I'm all right. Clifton, how are you?
Much better. I've been missing for a couple weeks. Had a death in the family, so I had to deal with that.
I'm sorry to hear.
Just going through a lot, but we're good. We're good over here. So as you mentioned, Captain America done leaked his own dick pic yesterday. You know, made my Saturday. Made a whole lot of other people's Saturday too. And you know, of course, other people are like, "Oh, you guys are sharing a picture without consent." And I'm just like, girl, he done shared it himself. He shared it himself. He blessed us. Stop. We take any blessing we can get in 2020. Stop being a hater. You know, let us enjoy dick pics. Please. So that was a wonderful, wonderful highlight of yesterday. And then we also had some very sad, sad, sad news. So they pulled the plug on Keeping Up with the Kardashians. It's no more. And I'm very sad about it. I'm saying sad very sarcastically because I haven't watched probably since Rob was not dating Black China and depressed, and about maybe 3 faces of Kim ago, back when she looked a little epic in the face. But I digress. But everything can't last forever. 20 seasons. 20. I mean, I think the other shows that I know that have that many seasons are like The Simpsons or like Monday Night Football or Monday Night Raw, but this bitch really was on TV for 20 motherfucking seasons and gave all your family members spinoffs and all this shit. You know what? I can't even hate. I wish that I could get famous or get some coins off of my sister sleeping with somebody and getting caught up, but I digress again. So right now, as we speak, there is a battle going on the Instagram. If you're familiar with the wonderful aunties of Patti LaBelle and Gladys Knight, they are battling each other on Instagram right now in the versus battles. A couple weeks ago, Brandy and Monica did the same thing, and it was a wonderful highlight of strong Black women in music, letting us know that they have bops and taking us down memory lane. So, of course, I will be sliding in there to see what's going on. And I will make sure I have some sweet potato pie with it, too. Have you ever had sweet potato pie, Suzette?
You know what? No. I like sweet potatoes a lot, but I don't
We're going to have to change that.
I don't like pie. Okay, I'll try.
It's really good. It's life-changing.
Okay.
Once you have that, you'll never want to go back. But to think.
Go back to what?
What was that?
Go back to what?
I don't know, pumpkin pie or apple pie or cherry pie, but
I just want to say I might look like a basic ass white girl, but I don't like pumpkin pie either.
Me neither. It's I got deceived once and had to think of those sweet potato pie, and I was like, but it's I could do a pumpkin spice latte. That's as far as that basic pumpkin spectrum that I'll go, but like pumpkin everything else, no. Yeah, it's been quite a slow week besides of those things happening. Of course, everybody's still locked in the house, so we take anything that we can get, and thank you, Captain America, for blessing us yesterday. That was a wonderful Saturday delight.
He dropped Thor's hammer.
What was that?
I said he dropped Thor's hammer on us.
Yes, he did.
Try to pick that up.
Thanos couldn't handle that. I really ain't shit for that, though, but when have I ever been shit, Suzette?
When have you been shit?
When have I ever been shit, Suzette?
Oh, I mean, you're the shit to me all the time, if we're using the shit in a good way.
Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate that.
Every day. Every day. I missed you at brunch today.
I know. I had some errands to run, and I had to be a responsible adult and not partake in libations all day, so.
Sure. I need to send you a clip because I did something you have not seen. So I will send you that clip later.
Oh, I can't wait to see. But I will be back at brunch, though.
I looked good and I had poise.
Oh. Mm-hmm. Okay. Send me the link, please. I can't wait to see.
I will. And you'll be back next week, you say?
Yes, I'll be back.
Good. I have something planned next week. A big thing planned.
Y'all better come out here to this brunch. This brunch is good, and those seats go fast, so make sure to get your seats soon. So.
Yes, we're talking. So just in case, we're talking about. It's hard to hear me. I'm being told. Is this better? We're talking about Makeup and Mimosas, which is at Badlands. It's every Sunday, 10:30 in the morning and 12:30 noon time, and it's brunch and it's fun, and the best drag queens in Sacramento are in it, and then me. So come see it. Clifton said
definitely come. It's the best thing that we got right now.
Thank you, Clifton. That's a really sweet thing to say.
No, trust me, because these last 6 months have been shitty. So once I heard that we had drag brunch coming, I was like, come on, girls, get your mask, get your hand sanitizer, let's go. It's safe, fun, get drunk, have a little bit of normalcy.
Socially distanced fun.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Well, thank you so much for having me, Suzette.
Absolutely. Thank you for selling Emma Haney on coming to brunch.
Well, I had to be responsible today.
Let me introduce the next. And yeah. Guys, this is great. I'm spoiled. All I ever wanted was an audience, and now I have an audience bringing me sushi. And she's funny. We're bumping David off the show today. We're just going to talk to Emma. That's what we're going to do. Fuck David Shapiro. Yay, Emma Haney. Okay, cool. Thank you, Clifton, so much for coming on. I'm glad everything's better. Well, not better, but I'm glad you're working through some stuff, and I'm sorry to hear about the loss, and I can't wait to see you in person again.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. I'll see you later.
Okay. Love you. Bye. Okay, guys, that was Clifton Ellison. Ooh. His information was on the screen below him. So sorry. You can tip Stab right above me on my head. The Venmo's up there. So I'm not crazy just pointing. I'm pointing at the Venmo. You guys can see it. You know what I'm talking about. So send coin to my contributors. They're working hard. Send coin to Stab. Jesse's working hard. He is a pandemic hero, peers and queers. A pandemic hero. So support that. Okay, cool. And with that, we're going to go to the next contributor. Another one of my favorite people, favorite comics, favorite follows. You can check out his YouTube show, which is an elongated version of what he does here, but it's good. So check it out. Give it up, Bees and Booze, for Mean Dave.
Hey.
Hey, how are you?
Good to see you.
Good to see you, too.
Yeah. I like these earlier shows. It's good. It's good because I sleep all day. And it gives me a little preparation to just, kind of wake up for my 6 p.m. show. We do a Zoom show at 6 p.m. and stuff. And, and it's been fun doing this show after that show. But before it, it's even better, I think. So it's good. I'm glad you got the brunches and all that kind of stuff. And I had a feeling. I didn't know. It's strange when, things kind of snowball all this information. It's a weekly show, so naturally, a lot of our news is dictated by social media and whatnot, and so I don't really get news from news. I get news from massive posts on Facebook or tweets on Twitter, and yes, I've heard about a movie that people were up in arms about and trying to cancel on Netflix. That when I just did the basic of Google searching, learned that, it's a movie that's addressing the very issue that everybody is up in arms about. Unfortunately, there was one image that it was promoted with. I thought it was a documentary at first, and I was trying to bring this shit down. Then found out it's actually a film that was addressing it. It's not hard to educate yourself on any of this shit, but it's amazing how knee-jerk the culture's been based on, what started as, it's internet bullshit from whatever, the QAnon 4chaners or whatever. And then it stems, you start scaring the rest of the herd that thinks they're not sheep, that call people sheep, that pretty much are sheep, and have totally missed the fact that, we've been a culture that's kind of been youth obsessed and sexualized, the youth. Since I was a child, I grew up watching, all kinds of stuff that didn't, that actually was approached the subject with a little more tact. I remember a Different Strokes episode that addressed adults touching kids, and people kind of commended that because it taught me, hey, don't trust fucking adults with bike shops. And then after that, as I got older, I remember a movie. Somebody brought this up. I don't know if you ever saw a movie called Kids. But that was a movie that had all kinds of young kids having sex in the movie, not like real sex or whatever. But it's just amazing that we've had movies that have dealt with subjects like this, like adults that have been a little bit that have been in the mainstream and whatnot. And what's funny is we've come now to this point where people just are more upset. It's right now, America getting mad at this cuties and Netflix sounds like the dude who's at the bar who's calling everyone gay, who is most likely gay. You know, it's that whole thing of like the biggest homophobe is just scared of their own homosexuality, and that's kind of what America looks like right now.
Yeah.
And then right away, without missing a beat, yes. Not even a month after Chadwick Boseman, Black Panther, has passed away, we have Captain America whipping it out, accidentally uploading his junk. By the way, the Thor's hammer is called Mjolnir. You want to make sure you get that right in case MCU heads start calling you out on that. It's not Thor's hammer, it's Mjolnir. But that's. It's not. I mean, it hasn't even been that long, and people are just, people think, oh, cool, wow, yeah, it's wrong, but hey, man, at least he's packing heat or whatever, and there's more likely that will impact children. Hearing, like, just because kids are internet savvy, they know what's up, man. They know how basic Google searches and shit. They're gonna hear about Captain America's dick out, and it's an accident. I have or hopefully it was. I don't fucking know. I'm a big fan of the MCU. I don't want to well, actually, Captain America's already gone. He's out. If you saw, I'm sorry to spoil Endgame for anybody who hasn't seen it by fucking now, but he's out of there. So we got rid of him. So you don't have to worry about having to recast Captain America. You can cancel his ass. Because I don't really give a shit about Chris Evans from now on, as far as I'm concerned. He's done his duty being Captain America, and the character's written out, so sayonara. Whereas, obviously Chadwick Boseman, it's amazing what people will get upset about, and naturally, like, I remember mentioning it the week that Chadwick Boseman died. Hasn't even been a few weeks, and already they're like, we're not going to recast. We're going to make sure that his sister becomes the next Black Panther. And it was just because people just were so adamant that there could be no other Black Panther. And I'm of the mindset of like, look, we're all in grieving. He's an amazing actor. I'm also I've watched movies forever. I've been a fan of the MCU since the beginning, and they most definitely could find somebody to be Black Panther. It's just you don't want to talk about it right now because it's so fucking soon. We don't know how to process shit in this goddamn country, especially right now, because everybody's we still can't even process a fucking disease. So yeah, it's really these are stupid times, and I'm here for them. I love how stupid it is. I love watching it fall apart. Good thing is, I had a birthday. I turned 44 on Wednesday.
Happy birthday!
On Wednesday. It was my birthday, last Wednesday, September 9th. Another year closer to death, as I like to say, and couldn't be soon enough based on how everything's going. But yeah, it's beyond that. It's been an all right week. It just sucks that you see on a daily basis, the people can't, things just have to be on fire, and that's because, well, once again, everybody laughed at Al Gore talking about climate change. Who knows? I don't study the earth. I don't know how much of this is attributed. I believe that climate change is real only because it gets hotter and hotter. That's all. And people do pollute with lots of cars. I don't know if you heard, but apparently they've been lying to us. Plastic doesn't get recycled. We just put it in a blue bin and it gets thrown in another fucking pit, which was something that didn't surprise me because that's kind of what I thought things happening. Only because I've been blessed or cursed with the gift of cynicism, and that's where sometimes I will again mentioning this cuties thing. I think the title throws you, all of that kind of shit. But again, I just give the benefit of the doubt in terms of, I've grown up watching a lot of different fucked up movies, and just because I've watched fucked up movies does not mean that I say that the filmmaker or any of these people condone it. It's art. But it's where art and corporate interests lie and all that shit, or independent, whatever. But I read a book when I was I was a freshman, and I didn't read it. I read half of it and I tuned out, and I just took enough notes to write a paper on it because I didn't want to read it anymore because it didn't interest me. Didn't feel like it. I wasn't like making an uproar about it. Actually, I was made to feel as though if I said anything negative about it, I'm the bad guy. That was a book called Death in Venice. And not only was it fucking boring, but it's about an old dude who falls in love with a young teenage boy. roughly about the age of 13. And he's chasing him throughout the book, like stalking him. And sorry, but when I was 18, 19 years old, freshman at UC Santa Cruz, wasn't my biggest interest in terms of literature. It wasn't that I was sitting there being judgy about it or whatever. We read some other, this was like 1994's woke, whatever. We read a bunch of ethnic studies, I didn't pay attention to that class. It's pass-fail school. All right. I was on acid. But anyways, I just remember that book, and I remember just thinking, like, why the fuck do I gotta, read this book? But they're telling me it's literature, yada yada. I keep an open mind, and I didn't finish it, but I wrote a paper on it. The dude gave me, I passed with the paper, but he knew I didn't read the book from reading the paper. I said, yeah, because I didn't want to finish the book, because I didn't care to read, but I didn't, and didn't go out on a smear campaign, didn't try to get it removed from the library or anything else like that. I just simply moved the fuck on. And really, the fact is, if any of these people would have noticed, Cuties was a foreign film on Netflix. How many foreign films do you fucking watch on Netflix? I don't know about you. I watched none. Zero. Zip. This has been the best advertising for Cuties, as far as I'm concerned, was all this hoopla, just as controversy tends to. And if anything, I would just say, you know what? The fact is, if you're that concerned, QAnoners and Save the Children hashtaggers and all that kind of shit, fact is, you probably want to keep your Netflix, because that's what's keeping your creepy uncle or your creepy babysitter or whoever it is that's in your life who is most likely to molest your children, not a movie, and definitely not a movie that's trying to bring about awareness of our sexualized, youth-obsessed culture. So. The end.
I think you summed it all up. I don't have anything to add to the serious stuff you said, but I do have some.
Hella serious. I'm hella serious this week.
I do
Last
have some.
Week hella serious too.
I can
on a serious.
I can toss some MCU puns out. So Captain America, Chris Evans. I would say that it wasn't Mjolnir so much as Stormbreaker, because he broke a lot with that dick pic.
I didn't see it. I'm not going to go chasing down the picture. I actually just alerted my buddy who's into dudes, and now he's going to probably go find it. I'm like, it just pays to keep up with the MCU.
Well, more powerful than Loki's scepter with the Mind Stone in it, and I think it probably made Hawkeye quiver. So.
You think it could? You think it could handle the Power Stone?
Yeah.
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 I don't know. This is both dorky and gross.
A little bit. But that's what the viewers come here for.
Hell yeah.
Dorky and gross. And we deliver. Thanks, Dave.
You're welcome. Thank you. I'll see you next week.
Absolutely. Love you. Bye.
Love you too.
Bees and Booze, Peers and Queers. That was Mean Dave. Send him some coin because he's here every week and contributes for you guys. Also, Stab Comedy Theater. Couldn't do the show without them. And then we're going to bring on the next contributor, another one of my favorite people, favorite comics, favorite follows. Just generally, I love her, and I just wish that she would love me a tenth of what I love her back. Give it up, everyone, for Chelsea Bearce. Oh, she's muted. Oh, it's her worst dream of reality where she's muted and I'm not.
Settle down. Settle down. We're here. I will never love you as much as you love me. Hello, hiya! How are you, Ben?
I'm okay. How are you?
How was brunch today? Was it good?
It was really good. I'm going to send you the clip, too, because I think you'll be a little bit impressed with me. Just a little bit.
I doubt that. But yes, send it.
I will.
Great.
Look, I paint my nails now, too. I'm a lady.
I'm doing my nails right now. Look, I have the little clips on.
Oh.
Do you have these? Do you know these?
No.
Can you see me?
Yeah, teach me.
Oh, okay. So these are clips, and you put the stuff in here, like the... Shit. Hold on, this is really bad TV. So this is a pad, and you put the nail polish remover on it. And then, Lisa, have you seen these? No? Oh my god. She's in the Zoom. You'll see her next. So you put it in here, and you just let it soak all the nail polish off. It's good for, like, gel nails, too, because that takes forever to take them off. So, man, I'm teaching you guys so much today. This is crazy.
Emma Haney has seen them. She's up to speed.
Oh, Emma's seen them?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you didn't see what I put put it in the chat, but having Emma Haney feed me food out of a to-go container is one of the most sexual dreams, like, recurring that I've had in my life. So, you are living out my fantasy right now.
I'm gonna get the best sleep ever tonight. I'm scared to take sushi while I'm talking to Chelsea. She'll yell at me. Yeah.
Yeah, don't do it. No,
Yeah.
because I'll fucking murder you.
I know.
So, hi.
Hi.
So, yeah, I never know what I'm going to talk about on here. Literally, I have no idea what I'm going to say.
Never know.
And I've missed you for a couple weeks, right? Because the 5 o'clock thing blew my mind. So, welcome to 5. But, here, let me be honest with you, okay? I took a little weekend trip to Tahoe with some friends, right? And I did some drugs. Okay, so, now, it's fine, you guys. I did that, right? And I had this thought that I could not shake from my soul, right? And I had this thought, because we've talked about me dating and how horrible it's been during the pandemic. We've talked about all of the terrible dating, episodes that I've had. And then I was like, yo, dude, what if instead of protecting my heart, what if this whole time I'm just pushing love away and avoiding it? Like, what if I'm actively pushing the possibility of love out of my life instead of protecting from, like, toxic shit, right? And that thought messed with me, okay? That messed with me. So then I decided, like an idiot, like a desperate, lonely, horny-ass idiot that I am,
Me too.
I let in, put your hand down, this is my segment, and I let in a toxic person from my past to come back in and, like, give them another try. Any takers on how that went? Anyone want to guess on how that went down? Anyone?
Emma
Yes,
Haney?
very good. It's 2 thumbs down, all the way out of the Zoom. That's what she did right now. Yes, all the way out. It was bad, Suzette. It was bad. And you know this person. You do. You know this person. I'm looking to see if they are actually watching this right now on Twitch. I have Twitch up right now, and I'm like, oh, shit. Ooh,
We're just blasting folks.
Huh?
I said we're just putting people on blast.
Yeah, I don't give a shit. But yeah, it was really bad, and it's that quarantine, like, brain where you think, you have this skewed vision of what you want or what you need or what's going to make you happy and because we've all been so cooped up. We haven't seen people. I don't know how to hug anymore. Like, it's just like, there's this weird skew that we have in our brain right now, and it's messing with us. I had a friend on social media recently who was making a series of those suicide posts, and it was how I woke up. And it was just like, that's a terrible thing, like, to wake up to 2 hours ago, this person was posting that it just takes this many cc's and no one would even notice if I was gone, and what's the point of fucking living? And it's like, we have, and I've said this before, probably on the show, who the fuck knows? I don't even know what day it is. But, before the pandemic, we used to have highs and lows, like, days. Today's a pretty good day. Tomorrow, today's actually not a very good day. But now we have, like, good and bad minutes. At 3:17 p.m., you could be on the fucking high of your life. At 3:22, you want to murder somebody. Like, it's just like the highs and lows are so fast. It's hard to keep up with. So I don't know where the hell I'm going with this. I feel like I'm turning into Mean Dave, but it's been a very weird couple of weeks. And it's been a weird fucking year. Let's all be honest. It's a weird year, but yeah, I have no idea how I want to end this. Do you have a question for me? Let's take this show back. Do you want to say something?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
And I just, I could take it back anytime. I'm being a good host.
Okay.
So what did you, let me ask this. All the trials and tribulations that you've had from dating during the pandemic, and
it's awful. Yeah.
And you let your words, toxic ex back into your life, and you regret it. What did you learn from that?
Okay, here's the thing. Okay, let me tell you why they were toxic. First of all, okay. Excuse me, I just burped. I just pounded this Truly. Look at the size of this Truly, dude. Like this is ridiculous. Do you see the size of it? It's my head. It's legit my head.
It's like it's Chris Evans up in there with you. What's happening?
Oh, topical humor. What? So the reason why this person was toxic, you guys, and I mean, if you've had this, I apologize because it's something that okay, but it doesn't sound like it should be toxic. Here's the thing: is this person doesn't have like hobbies or like things that they do to like work through their aggression or creative outlets. They don't have this, but he was obsessed with me. And I'm not saying that like I'm so cool. Like, I'm not saying it like that. He was legitimately obsessed with me. Like, he started going to therapy because I wanted him to. It wasn't for him. It was for me. He would show up to comedy shows and just sit in the back and then be jealous that I was networking after a comedy show. And it's like, no, bitch, that's part of the work. That's part of this. So you can't be jealous of my time. And here's the worst part, is when I finally broke things off, he broke into my mother's house where I was with my son, my 4-year-old son, and broke into the house to talk to me because I wouldn't respond to his text messages. Nope, it's not okay. And you can't do that and then try to justify what you're doing because you love me. Fuck you. It's not a thing. It's just, it got to a point where I got nervous and it was toxic because it was one of those like, if I can't have you, no one can have you kind of things, which is legit. That's a real thing. And it scared the shit out of me. So that's the toxic thing that I'm talking about. So anyway, when I talk about, I also did some soul searching after that. And I realized that I like to get involved with people who are kind of like projects, like they're not ripe yet. Like those are the kind of people that I like because it's like, well, I'm a whole person, you're not, so I have it all together, which makes me feel better about myself. And it's like, why am I doing that to myself? So I think that's the main thing that I left this experience with, is that I need to be with someone who is a complete person, to be with me who's a complete person, and we just accent each other, we help make each other better, as opposed to me having to be a mom to a 4-year-old beautiful fucking human and then a piece of shit who doesn't know how to tie his own shoes. You know what I mean? Gross.
Or collects bugs.
Oh my god, he called me today. The fucking bug guy, dude.
What?
He called me out of nowhere. Yeah. The bug guy called me out of nowhere. Oh, Lisa doesn't know this. Lisa, this fucking guy, she's in the Zoom, guys. I can see her. Relax. So this fucking guy, we were supposed to go on a date, and he didn't even, I was told he was in the South Bay. It took him an hour to get to where we were going. It only took me 20 minutes. So I said, tell me when you leave, and then we'll meet up and we'll have lunch. Totally fine. Great date. Okay. This fucker texts me 30 minutes after we're supposed to meet. So this is an hour and a half-ish later. And he texts me that he was making eggs. And I was like, what? You're what? And he was like, I'm really hungry. I needed eggs. And I was like, okay, bye. Like, I'm not going to be upstaged by a fucking omelet. It's not a thing. Done. I hate everyone. Except Emma. I would fuck Emma.
She's waving and she's in. She's ready.
I know. She has a girlfriend. She's happy. I shouldn't say that.
She is, but she just actually left to get noodles. So take it for what it's worth.
See, I even clear a room when she's like one person. I walked to your only audience member. Okay. Should I go? What time is it? How are we on time? We're good.
We're good.
Okay.
We're good.
So that's me. Hey guys, welcome back.
Thank you for, no, she went to get noodles for you.
Oh my god.
Yeah, she wants to feed you. Come to Sacramento.
Don't fucking play with me, Suzette. Don't you dare.
I'm not.
God.
I can't show you to her because she's not in the Zoom, but I speak the truth. Thank you for sharing more of your dating stories.
Yeah, of course.
They're wild.
I'll stay on humble. I'll keep paying the subscription so that we have shit to talk about. Don't worry about it. All right?
Yeah,
I got
no, it's
you.
great. I like it.
I got you.
And
then, hey, and in the next few weeks, I'm gonna come to brunch,
Mhm.
and then I'm gonna stick around, and I'll just be live in the studio with you one day. Okay? It'll happen.
You tell me when, so I don't book anybody, because I think we could just do it, the show ourselves.
It'll happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fine. We're good. I'll let you do my makeup.
You what?
I'll let you do my makeup.
Oh, really?
No, absolutely not. There's no way in hell, bitch. You thought so, though. You were so excited.
No.
Nope.
No, I was incredulous. I was like, what's wrong with you? Did the Eggman, did he put bugs in you? Are bugs controlling your brain? Someone go help Chelsea. There are bugs in her brain. He Trojan horsed them in through an omelet.
All right, I'm going to go. I love you.
Okay, love you too. Bye.
Bye, Emma. Bye, Jesse. Bye, Lisa.
Emma said bye. Bees and Booze, Peers and Queers. That was Chelsea Bearce. We all love her, and she's one of my favorite people, and you should coin her and send her some, and also support Stab Comedy Theater. I can't say that enough, because we're only here because Stab lets us be. So, whew, okay. And with that, we are going to get to, oh, you know what I didn't do? I am a terrible person, Lisa. I didn't ask for your intro, but Chelsea has given you a lot of intro. So I'm just going to say you're an amazing person, and you sure helped me get further in my career as a producer, at least. I don't know if anyone would call me a comic. I don't know if anyone would call me a drag queen. But I do something in entertainment, and I'm really grateful for knowing you, not just through business, but also as a friend and a person. And I can't wait to talk to you today. So everybody, please join me in welcoming Lisa Barr.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Hi, I am okay. How are you?
Hot and tired, but
You are hot.
also having a fun show.
I love your Courtney Love vibe today.
Oh, thank you
so much.
Thank you. How are you?
I'm good. I'm doing pretty good. Yeah. Yeah. What a weird fucking year.
It's a super weird year. And I want to put a pin in how maybe you're handling this year compared to other people. So let's come back to that. What have you been doing during the pandemic?
So I moved to Los Angeles during the pandemic, like right in the middle of it, in the beginning, I guess, in April from Folsom. So that was a really nice change. And let's see, I was in Europe when the outbreak started, but we can talk about that in a little bit. I've been watching a lot of documentaries. I've been doing a lot of walking my dog, and yeah, just kind of boring stuff, but I'm not complaining.
What's the best documentary you've watched?
Oh, that's a tough one. The one that just stood out in my mind the most is, I wouldn't say it's the best, but it was so shocking and interesting. I just watched Leaving Neverland, you know, the Michael Jackson pedophilia documentary. Yeah. Yeah, that was interesting. I just watched a really cool one today about how the world is seen through different animals' eyes. Oh, that was pretty cool.
That's fascinating.
Yeah.
So you moved from Folsom to Los Angeles, and when you lived up here in Sacramento, you were a very busy person managing both a comedy club and a music venue.
Yeah.
When you managed the comedy club, how did you get your start managing comedy clubs?
Kind of by accident. So I'm from Charlotte, and I was running a music venue. That was my first kind of introduction into live entertainment. And there was a comedy club in Charlotte called the Comedy Zone that came knocking on my door and said, "Hey, are you interested in interviewing? We need a GM." And so it sounded intriguing. I'd literally never been to a stand-up comedy show ever my whole life. In fact, the only time I'd ever been to the Comedy Zone before was when I was 7 for a birthday party where they had a magician. And anyway, so I got the job and like instantly fell in love with stand-up comedy and that whole culture and, you know, all the weird idiosyncrasies that go on in comedy clubs. It's kind of addictive, as you know.
A little bit.
Yeah, so I just kind of stumbled into it, but I loved it.
So you started in Charlotte, and then when I met you, you were managing the Punchline here in Sacramento.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I ran the music venue in Charlotte for about 7 years, and then went to the Comedy Zone, was there for about 3 years, and then Live Nation asked me to interview for a role in Sacramento running Ace of Spades, because they had just acquired Ace of Spades and needed a GM. So I got the job. I came out, sight unseen, had never been to Sacramento in my life, just kind of took a gamble with Jason in tow. We came out, and yeah, I ran Ace of Spades for 8 or 9 months before I also got Punchline. And so it was a good run. It was a lot. I worked up to 80 hours a week. So it was a lot of work. It was definitely a lot of work, but I met so many amazing people. I met you. It was a really great experience. I couldn't have gone on doing it forever. That's why I'm not doing it now. But yeah, it was good.
And just so the audience knows, the Jason that you mentioned is your boyfriend, and he is a really great person and really hilarious comic.
I will tell him you said that.
Oh, yeah. No, I just, in case they're like, Jason who? Because we do a lot of matchmaking on this show, Chelsea with me and Dave, Chelsea with Emma. So we should just go ahead and establish who you're talking about.
Sure.
So what did you like about managing comedy clubs? I guess both Punchline here and Comedy Zone in Charlotte.
Just kind of the outrageousness of it, I mean, there's just so many stories. In Charlotte once, I watched Mary Lynn Rice Cub. Do you know who she is?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I watched her wrap a girl's head in duct tape who was sitting on the front row who wouldn't stop talking. That has always stood out as one of the most outrageous moments. Then, of course, there was the big Pablo Francisco insanity that happened in Punchline Sacramento, which is on YouTube. And if you haven't seen it, you should look it up. It's pretty sad. But, I wouldn't say I love comedy clubs for tragic moments like that, but I kind of like how no night is like any other. And you just kind of never know what you're going to get when you put a bunch of drunk strangers in the room with some outrageous comic. And, it's fun to watch it all unfold.
What would you say you disliked about managing comedy clubs?
Hecklers and customers that just act like they don't know any better, like they've never been out in their entire life before. That was absolutely always the worst. I've seen customers throw their shoes at comics. I've just seen people act such a fool in comedy clubs, and they're always so hard to deal with. They're the most difficult customers, people who can't behave in comedy clubs.
Sometimes teachers are the worst. I've found at comedy shows, and I think it's because maybe they're so used to telling people to be calm all day and sit and listen, and then they get a little bit drunk and wow, teachers go wild at comedy shows.
The same exact thing goes for law enforcement. They're very hard to tame and to get to calm down if there's any problems with them. I mean, they just kind of erupt.
If anyone's riled, huh? Noted.
Yeah.
Noted. So managing music venues, like you said, you started in Charlotte. What was it like when you started? Because you did that before comedy clubs. What was it like when you started managing music venue?
Yeah, so music has just kind of always been my thing since as far back as I can remember. I wanted to just be around musicians. I wanted to play music. I just wanted to live in that world. And so I started working box office at a club that was sort of like a Charlotte institution, and just kind of gradually worked my way up. And one day the general manager / talent buyer seat opened up, and I just kind of sat in it. Nobody really asked me to, but they didn't have a replacement, so I just sat down and started figuring it out. And I was in love with it. I mean, this club was really special to me. It held 1,000 people. It was about the same size as Ace of Spades, but it had such an intimate feel to it. And so just getting to see bands on such an intimate level night after night, booking the shows, being able to kind of curate local talent, it was just a great experience, a great way to experience my 20s. I was there for, most of my 20s. So yeah, it was great. And then at Ace of Spades, it was a lot of the same, just getting to have those really intimate moments with great bands that would normally play much larger rooms. But in Sacramento, we always got the bigger bands on the smaller room, which is Ace of Spades. So yeah, that was always really nice.
It's really cool to hear you talk about, procuring local talent and kind of, because I don't know what the culture was like before I started stand-up comedy. And I mean, honestly, I could ask Emma because she's here and she would know. So it's kind of unique tonight. But I really felt that you had a open heart and an open eye for local comedy talent in Sacramento. And I thought that was really awesome. So I can only imagine how that worked with bands.
Yeah, it was a little bit easier in Charlotte because neither of the venues I ran were run by Live Nation, so there were no restrictions with programming. In Sacramento, I mean, I don't know how much I should speak about Live Nation, but I'm going to. There was just restrictions. They don't make it easy to book local talent musically or in comedy. So I came from a world where that was the most important part of either club that I ran, was keeping in touch with the local communities and having them be a thriving part of it. And so I tried to do my best with that. I think that it could have, and it still can't, well, there's nothing going on there now, but it could be better. I think there's a lot of room to work on getting Punchline to be a little more local friendly. But I think when they added that side room, that started to help support the local scene a little bit more, did it not?
We can message about it later.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it definitely, I think maybe it never got its chance to get its right footing during COVID. I don't know if because it had some open mics, and I don't know if anyone really knew how to, and this is me as an artist speaking. I don't know just the audience. I have nothing to do with it other than I produce shows there. But it seems like they have a lot of great ideas for it, and maybe they just didn't get a chance to implement them yet. So yeah. I hope, because it's such a great space, that callback bar on the side of Punchline.
It's beautiful.
So it'd be nice, and it'd be a great way for local talent not to have to put, I mean, when I do a show there, my goal, my bar for like how many people do I need to get in the seats so I can pay everybody in my show and it be a good show, is usually something like 50.
That's
and
hard.
It's not only hard, but it feels empty. If you put 50 people in a 240 person room, it feels like no one's there, even though there are 50 people, and you're grateful there are 50 people. But you really want at least triple digits before it starts to feel somewhat full. And that's so hard. And the callback bar is so awesome because it seats, I think, 60 to 70 people. And so just 35 people in there would be, even 20 would be pretty cool. And if you got up to 60, like, rock on, but.
Right.
So, we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see what the future holds for it.
Definitely. What did you like about music venues? You said with comedy you liked the unpredictability of the sort of a charged situation unfolding. What did you like about music venues the most?
Like I said, just kind of the intimacy of it, getting the opportunity to see so many shows night after night and in such a close-up way, and kind of forming relationships with bands that you get to see, year after year over time. And when I was in my 20s, it was sort of living out a lot of my girlhood fantasies of getting to meet a lot of my musical heroes, I think just kind of being a part of that world, it's a really special place to be.
You can skip this question. I don't want to ask anything that's off base, but meeting your heroes, your musical heroes, is it, because they always say you shouldn't meet your heroes, and sometimes it's true and sometimes it's not. Sometimes your heroes are amazing. So meeting your musical heroes, was that a good thing? Was it a bad thing?
It varied. It varied, definitely. Like, meeting the original drummer of Guns N' Roses was like a dream come true. And we had an amazing day together, and he was so gracious and happy to be there and talk to every fan. And that was a great moment. Then, opposite end of the spectrum, I got to meet the singer of a band called Ministry, who I'd loved since I was a kid. And long story short, the day ended with him pooping all over the floor of the green room. So he kind of soured my image of him that day. So it can go either way. I would say one of the negative things about the world of music and comedy too is, you know, the excessive amount of drugs and alcohol and how that can create, you know, just really toxic nights and situations that, you know, you wish you had never dealt with. That's definitely the dark side of both of those industries for sure.
Right on. Yeah, it is nice just for everything to be kind of not, I don't know the word to say, because I don't want to shame anyone that uses drugs or drinks, because I certainly have some drinks after a successful show. But it is nice when everything feels real, I'll say, and everyone's kind of on the same plane of reality.
Right, for sure.
It
Yeah,
means
and
a
like
little
you
bit
said,
more.
not to shame people at all. I mean, it's rock and roll, it's comedy, it's going to involve those things, and that is a part of the culture. It's just there are extreme moments that are fueled by, you know, cocaine and too much whiskey, and you know, those moments make it pretty challenging sometimes to be a GM of a club.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So, like you said, you couldn't do it forever, and it was fun. And so now you moved to Los Angeles, and I think you mentioned it earlier, you were a tour manager of a band traveling through Europe during COVID.
Yeah. So I've been managing this band called Paint Fumes for, I guess, almost 2 years now. And they're a rock and roll band from Charlotte. That's how I know them, how we connected. And, you know, they're semi-popular. They're more popular in Europe than they are here. So I was excited to go and be their tour manager / driver / merch seller and band mom for a 28-day European tour. And so we left, I think it was February 18th, and we knew that coronavirus was being talked about in the news. We had no idea it would unfold the way it did. So yeah, it was a really interesting time. I absolutely loved touring and seeing all these different places night after night and meeting people in music scenes in all these international cities. But our van got robbed in Barcelona, and we had practically everything stolen from us. I lost the singer at one point for 24 hours. I lost the drummer for a little bit less than that. And we, because of COVID, had 7 canceled shows. So it was wild. It was just a crazy time. And we were actually in northern Italy when the outbreak started, and that was kind of the hot spot, you know?
Yeah.
And we found out last minute that they were barricading the border. So we literally had to like speed to try to get through to Switzerland. And we hit 2 borders that were completely barricaded, and we're panicked. And we found a Swiss woman driving, also trying to get back into her country. And we asked if we could follow her. And we literally sped past policemen that were laying barricades out while we were driving through. So that was really interesting. But me and all the guys in the band, we all agree we wouldn't change anything if we could turn back time, because, you know, it made for a really memorable, amazing bonding experience for all of us.
Absolutely. Very interesting. And yeah, I don't know what I was going to add something to it, but it's just fascinating that your first time managing a band touring through Europe happened to be during a pandemic. But why would you change it? You know, and no one else gets that first time, and you have a cool fleeing past police laying barricades story. So
Right.
I think that's neat. Another client. What's the right word? Would it be client? Another artist? I think artist. I think that's what I mean to say.
You can say either. Yeah.
Another artist you're managing is an electronica video game music artist.
Yeah. Video game music composer, but also just a multi-instrumentalist and musician in his own right. So this is somebody that I know from Charlotte and from the music scene there, and he's kind of gaining popularity now as somebody that composed the soundtrack to a recently released game called Itta, ITTA. And yeah, he doesn't perform live, so it's a completely different experience managing him. What I do with him is more, trying to find work for him in the advertising industry and films. We're having his record released soon. So we're more concerned with like getting an online presence going for him and getting plays on Spotify and things like that. So that's been really cool. It's a brand new experience to me. So I've learned a lot about the very niche world of video game music that I knew nothing about before, and it's really cool. There's some rabid fans out there.
Really? So
yeah.
What is exactly? I mean, I can kind of infer what an electronic music video game composer artist would be, but is there anything that I wouldn't infer that sort of title and job would pertain or contain?
Yeah. I mean, you've played Mario Brothers, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you know the music by heart, probably.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. So I mean, he's simply doing that, but to an indie game that you've probably never played before. But yeah, it's really just electronic music with a focus on soundtracking the actions of a game, and it's pretty fascinating. But you can also create an album of those songs and have them all stand as songs on their own, isolated from the game. So it takes a real talent to be able to do what he does, to soundtrack something that people play live, but also have those songs be songs on their own,
Yeah. How did, if you don't mind me asking you this, I mean, this is more of a question for him, but how does one get into video game music artistry?
He played in bands his whole life and decided he hated dealing with the drama of being in a band with other people. And so he just kind of built his own little studio in his bedroom one day, and it just kind of grew from there. And he decided that was a way he could pursue his musical dreams and not have to deal with other people or playing live, which he also hated. So, and he just kind of happened into it. He connected with somebody who was writing a video game and asked if he could do the soundtrack. He said, yeah. And they just kind of went from there.
That's so neat. He figured
Super
it
cool.
out. He found his path and his niche.
Mm-hmm.
So we put a pin in this earlier in the interview. The pandemic has been happening, and it's been causing a lot of people a lot of stress. People are dealing with anxiety for the first time in their lives. Sometimes some people are experiencing feelings that they've never felt. Some people. But you are very open with your journey in mental health. And I'm curious, how has this been for you? At least, what have you noticed? Are you handling it better than someone who's never felt anxiety before?
I have no idea, because I don't talk to anybody now, so I don't even know how to compare.
Sure.
I would say I think I'm generally handling it okay. However, I did disable all my social media accounts recently because, since we all went into sort of isolation, I'm sure most of us have been spending more and more and more time on social media because that's where we're social now. And so I've definitely doubled my amount of time on social media, but it was, just all the news and propaganda and just these kind of ridiculous, 50 comment long conversations that were going on where people are just arguing over nothing. It started to really bug me. And I definitely had to disable the accounts to kind of get my brain back and get my head out of this like crazy constant news cycle. But aside from social media kind of like triggering my anxiety, I think I'm generally doing pretty good. I try to spend a lot of time volunteering right now. So I have been doing a lot of that during the pandemic, going down to Skid Row in downtown Los Angeles and passing out supplies to the homeless. And so kind of just trying to throw myself into those kind of activities, if you can call them that, that's been helpful to kind of take me out of myself and out of my own head,
And I think that's what we have. We have the GoFundMe link below her. So we have the link for the charity that you sent to me. That's actually below your face right now on our screen. So if anyone wants to support what you're doing with Skid Row, they can send money to that link. Do you want to tell the viewers what that, more in depth, what that's about?
Sure, yeah. So it's a couple of friends and myself, friends who live here in LA. We volunteered with a few other organizations a few times on Skid Row, and just were kind of immediately impacted by the depravity of it, just how lacking of resources those people are, especially since COVID, because they actually took all the water fountains away. So there's no water supply on Skid Row, which is just dreadful. So we decided we would, kind of do stuff on our own to help. And so we started fundraising so that we could build hygiene kits and pass those out along with cold water and snacks. So hygiene kits, will have socks and razors and deodorant and just things that aren't readily available to people who are living in tents downtown. And yeah, so far we've raised, between the GoFundMe and a prior fundraiser, about $2,500, which has gotten us about 200 different hygiene kits to pass out. And it's been really great. Just doing what little we can and trying to fill the gaps where the government isn't really helping,
Sure.
So that's what that's all about.
So back to mental health, just because I do want to touch on it. We don't get to talk about it enough on this show, and it's important. And we had local drag icon Apple Adams on the show, and she and I spent a lot of time talking about mental health. You've had your own journey with mental health. What can you share with us about that?
Yeah, so I'm pretty open about it. I can say that I've grown up with, I grew up with a father who battled pretty medicine resistant depression. He has never found a way to treat his own depression. So that was pretty intense. And it's definitely a really strong genetic trait that runs in my family. So I got it. Most of my family has it. And so I've battled that my whole life. And anxiety is something that kind of came on in the past 5-6 years. I think the whole world is getting more stressed out, though. I don't think that that's exclusive to me. But I've been hospitalized twice. The second time that I was hospitalized for a number of days for depression, that was when I kind of realized that I needed to leave behind the entertainment industry, because that was such a stressful, triggering job. So it was a good thing. It was great that I had the opportunity to learn that was such a major trigger for my mental health issues. Yeah, sorry, what was the question?
I think you answered it. Just what can you share about your journey in mental health? And maybe we should at another time talk more in depth about this and not combine it with, your history and entertainment. But to flesh it out a little bit more here, knowing what you know now about mental health and your predilection for it, I guess, for lack of a better word, what do you wish you had known before? And I don't know what I mean by that, but because that's so vague, before when, but
right.
Is there something you know now about yourself or about society and mental health that you wish you had known previously?
Yeah, I would say, if you have trauma in your past, don't try to pretend that you don't, because that can be fatal. That can have such a bad impact on your life. I think a lot of people who have trauma stemming from any point in their childhood, at least this was my experience. When I moved out of my parents' house and started my own adult life, in my 20s, I thought, oh, well, my past is behind me. I'm fine. Everything is great. And then it kind of caught up with me in my 30s. So I think that if I could go back, I would say, face that stuff head on, get therapy, do whatever, is right for you. But don't ignore, if any kind of trauma has occurred in your life, don't ignore it, because it doesn't ever entirely go away. You just have to face it and learn how to, live through that stuff.
Sure. What can people do if they think they're struggling, or even better, if they don't know they're struggling? what signs can they look for to kind of figure it out before, it hits them like bricks?
That's going to be so different for every person. I'm not really sure how to answer that. I just think that the important thing is for us to continue working on, and I think you're really good at this, is, working to normalize this stuff and make it okay to talk about, because that's what so many people don't get to do. And that just exasperates anybody's problem, pretending it's not there. So I think that, if we can, as a society, just keep working on convincing people that it's okay to admit if you have something wrong and that you might need to go talk to somebody about it, then, that's just what we need to keep encouraging.
Yeah, it's something that David Shapiro, our contributor, talks about more, but it's like
me and David have had some amazing conversations about this stuff.
Oh, well, he's lucky to have had good conversations with you, but I pity you for having to talk to him. But he does say that he hates how people, the fake it till you make it when it comes to mental health. It's so damaging and destructive, because people just say, just pretend you're fine and you'll feel better, which if you imagine somebody saying that to somebody with, like, I don't know, renal cell carcinoma, just pretend you don't have cancer in your kidney,
right,
and you'll feel better. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah. And it's nuts. And it really is. That's a great analogy. It's the same thing.
Oh, well, I have to give credit to David. But it's like everyone looks out and they're being told to pretend to be happy. And so when you're a sad person and you look out in the sea of people and you only see happy people, half of them aren't even happy. Half of them are also sad. And it makes you feel more alone to be sad, because you're just seeing happy people, when really there are so many more people experiencing sort of what you're experiencing. Maybe not exactly the same, but very similar. So I think I want to say thank you for saying that, maybe we're normalizing it here, because that is something that I should probably try to do more of.
Well, David does a really good job of it. So,
oh, well, maybe I'll bring him on and he can talk about it. He's kind of a hack. What helps with anxiety and mental stress for you? And I mean, I know this isn't the same for everybody, but what helps for you, just in case somebody's watching and they're saying, oh, wow, maybe I do have some stressors in my life?
For me personally, again, I think that's something different for everybody. But for me, writing is a really big part of it, just being able to kind of get my thoughts out of my head. That's always been extremely cathartic for me in my toughest moments. And therapy, I'm a big cheerleader for therapy. I think it's great. I think everybody should be in therapy. I think it should just be normal, should come with everybody's health plan. I think it does wonders for people to have that unbiased ear to unload into, and then hear them not tell you the right things, but ask you the questions that you might not already be asking yourself. And I know that our mental health system is kind of screwed up, and it's easier said than done to even get good therapy, but hopefully that'll continue to get better in the future, because I would recommend that to anybody. I wish I could put my dog in therapy. I think everybody should have therapy.
That is a thing. I hear a lot of people having emotional support dogs that have emotional support dogs, and I will say I've seen that firsthand. So yeah, dogs could use therapy too. I could probably talk to you about this for an hour or two. So I think what I'm going to do is maybe come back at a certain time with a special episode, or maybe a spin-off about mental health. And I would love it if you would come on and maybe roundtable talk with me and some other people.
I would love to. That'd be amazing.
Awesome. So not to go into that too much, because we're going to come back to that one day in a more thoughtful way, once we can kind of think about what we want to say and the questions we want to ask and discuss. So that's everything I have for the main part of the interview, is there anything I wasn't smart enough to ask?
You're so funny.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, I can't think of anything.
Okay.
Good question, though.
I just want to point out to everyone watching that somebody said I'm funny, so there's a knock on me. Okay, cool. Lisa Barr, are you ready for rapid fire questions?
Ready.
Okay. What is your favorite thing about the existence of brunch?
Of brunch?
Mm-hmm.
You can get away with eating more food than you normally would at just a breakfast or a lunch.
That's so true.
And you get to get drunk in the early part of the day.
Yeah. Come back to Sacramento. Come to brunch. I have a pretty great one. I think you'd like it.
Are you still doing brunch? Like, are you back to doing it in person now?
Yeah. No, I just hosted 2 today. We're doing it socially distant, where the tables are 8 to 10 feet apart, probably. And
inside or outside?
It's outside. It's in the parking lot at Badlands.
Okay.
And we filed paperwork with the city to get signed off on, because we want to be above board every step of the way when it comes to this. This is a public health concern, but people also need live entertainment now as much as or more than they ever have. So it's outside. And people wear masks when they come in, and when they sit down, they can only sit with the people they came with. So if you come with 5 people, you can sit with them. If you come with 2 people, you can sit with them. If you see your friends and you didn't come with them, you cannot sit with them. That's just the way it is. That's the rules. And the queens and me don't have to wear masks because we're not actually going up to people to take tips. We have basically contactless tipping. So
nice.
Yeah, so if anyone wants to tip us, they do it on Venmo, or they do it in a basket that we don't even go near. And so that way we're able to do brunch and hopefully bring a little bit of joy to the city. And we've sold out 6 shows in a row. So
nice.
When you are back up north, let me know so I can reserve you a spot.
Okay.
I would love to have you here, because you've seen me kind of when I started performing, and it'd be interesting to get your take on what you see now.
Yeah, I'd love to see how the brunch has evolved. I think we were together kind of for the beginning of all that.
Yeah.
I'd love to be a part of that.
I'd love that too. Okay, that was my fault.
That wasn't very rapid. Sorry.
No, that's okay. They never are. I'm not good at enforcing the rapid. But back to rapid fire questions. I'm gonna be serious face. What do you ever wear wigs?
I wish I did.
Really?
I've actually been I've been thinking about shaving my head.
Okay.
Yeah, I want to explore. At some point in my life, I'm going to just go nuts, shave my head, and start wearing wigs. I want to. I really want to, but I never have.
Do you these are questions I ask people that wear wigs currently, but I'm going to ask them to you because this is something you've given thought to. Are you going to have a favorite color wig?
It'll probably be just like weird, like half blue, half pink, with like leopard spots or something. I mean, as weird as I can get it, I'm sure.
Sure. Do you think you're going to name your wigs?
Now that you mention it, yeah, absolutely. Each one should kind of even have its own like personality. Yeah.
Yeah. That's something a lot of queens say, that it has a personality or a character. But I haven't had a queen yet that named them. But that's not a bad thing if you do, because they come with names when you buy them. They're all named. So
yeah, come to think of it, one of my best friends had a wig that she would only wear every now and then. She wasn't in drag or anything, but she named it Persephone. That was just her wig's name, and it sat on her dresser on this little head. And yeah, that's really funny. Her name was Stephanie, and she named her wig Persephone.
When you put on a bra, do you clasp it in the front and spin it around, or do you do the inhuman thing and clasp it in the back?
Definitely in the back.
Wow.
Yeah.
How do your arms do that? Emma
Haney
Haney
they just kind of have always done that. I find it harder to do it the other way because I got rolls, I got sweat, and I don't want to have to like work through all of that. I just want to put it on how it goes on and boom, be done.
You are blowing Emma Haney's mind over here.
How does she do it? Emma, how do you do it? Really?
Is she mic'd right now?
Sorry.
I hear her.
Sorry.
I hear her.
Okay, here we go.
I'm good at projecting. I when I wear clasped like underwire bras, I clasp it in the front and then I spin it and put it on.
Same.
Wow.
I've got big
is that like
boobies,
am I
though. I don't know.
Am I in a minority here? Do most
I feel like
people
you just
put on
have a
bras
skill set that not a lot of women have.
It's just how I learned it.
Yeah.
So I can actually answer because we've done 22, 23 shows, and I ask every woman or drag queen. To my knowledge, Chelsea puts it on the way you do, but interestingly, she used the same argument Emma just did, but in the opposite way, big boobs. So she has to put it on that way. She can't spin it.
I mean, if need be, I
Mm-hmm.
can put it on that way. But I also mostly I wear sports bras now or like binders, so it's like I don't have to worry about clasping anything. So
Yeah.
we did have Punky Johnson who wears a gay vest. Is what she called
yeah,
it.
yeah, that's what they are.
But yeah, I mean, I would say, Lisa, you're in a minority, which is not
That's
a bad
crazy.
thing there.
No, that's good.
That's how it's done in the movies and on TV. Women with these like bendable Gumby arms just like clasp it in the back, and like for my life I couldn't do that. Like, you could be like, Suzette, I will give you $1 million, or I'll let you like headline Showtime at the Apollo, and I'd be like, blah. Like,
Yeah.
I would end up like, I'd be hanging from a street sign. You'd be like, how did that happen? I'd be like, I don't know.
I don't have the range to like do it in back.
We need to
like
do
with my shoulders. I don't
shoulder
know what it
stretches.
is. Yeah, I guess.
After this episode, Emma Haney and I are gonna
We'll
stretch
do
each
some
other's
stretch.
Yeah, we're gonna look up
I
shoulder
can't.
stretches. Okay. I'm doing a terrible job enforcing rapid
It's okay.
fire. Okay. How high is too high for high heels?
Oh, like any amount of height is too high.
Really? So
I can deal with a platform of really any height, but if you change it to a heel, no. It just looks and feels very dangerous to me. No.
so you would not want to share my 6-inch stilettos?
Oh God, no.
Okay. All right.
It's also painful. How the hell do you do that?
Um.
I mean, even when I was young and I was a teenager, early 20s, I tried. I wanted to look cool. I wanted to go to the clubs and look all hot with my high heel stilettos. I was dying. How do you do it?
Well, even though I'm old, I look 24, and so I pretend to be 24, and I just go with that, and it's really cute, and then I cry all night.
Right. When you get home and
Yeah.
you take them off, you just sit there and like rub them and cry.
No, you know what it is? It's the first like 10 minutes after wearing them for like 4 hours. When I put on like my sneakers and my feet are like, what the fuck is happening? And I'm like, I don't know. You should be used to this. Why are you not used to this? And they're like, we don't know. So yeah, that's how I do it, but it's cute. And I do it because beauty is pain.
You are talented.
This is the best show ever. I'm funny. I'm talented. I'm getting sushi.
You're getting a lot of compliments tonight.
I know.
I'm
I
here
love it.
for all of it. It's
I
great.
love it. Like, I'm just the happiest girl. Okay. Okay. So this is a question, Lisa, for performers. But you are in that world, so I'm gonna try to adapt it for you. What's your favorite regular show that you've seen?
Like
Or
in the drag world or
just any drag. It can be music. It can be comedy. Just a recurring show.
like live though, right?
Yes.
Gosh. I'm not being very rapid. I am absolutely drawing a blank on that.
Okay. Well, we can come back.
Because I can't think of any, and I've probably been involved in or worked in a venue that has had, hundreds of them over my life.
Well, I mean, that's part of your past, and so your mind isn't there right now.
Yeah. Sweet. My memory is starting to go, by the way. It's crazy.
Oh.
Yeah.
Ginkgoba? I don't know.
I mean, I'm sure it's fine, but did you say, do I think it's Corona?
No, I said you can take Ginkgoba. I don't know. I hear that's good for memory.
Oh, okay.
Or do Sudoku, I think they say, is like any sort of brain teasers. I don't know. I'm not a doctor. I just look like one. What's your favorite venue that you've been in or seen shows in or worked in?
I'll give you two answers, music and comedy.
Okay.
For music, 100% the club I ran through my 20s, Tremont Music Hall. It's unfortunately been bulldozed to the ground, and there are now condos standing where it once did. But just because I kind of like, cut my teeth there, and it was the first club I ever went to when I was 14 and then ended up running it, and just a special, amazing place. I love it so much. I got a tattoo on my thigh of the trash can that we had to empty last thing at the end of every night. Just the greatest place, greatest memories. Comedy, my favorite is the Comedy Store. I absolutely adore that room. It's so intimate, and you get to see, like some of the world's best comics there in this tiny little space, but it's also just so simple and grungy, and it's all red and black, and it's sexy to me. I love it. I love that room.
I've been there to watch some comics, but I've never been on stage. So goals.
Goals for sure.
What's the funniest thing? This one is great. This one is also for performers, but I'm sure you're going to have a fantastic answer. What is the funniest thing an audience member has ever said to you after a show?
Oh, God. Again, with the memory. Okay, hold on. I've got to have something for this. What the funniest thing an audience member has said to me after a show, there was a fire battalion chief, fire department battalion chief at a country show at Ace of Spades who came up, and he was just being a real drunk idiot throughout the whole show, and we eventually had to eject him. And when I went to eject him, he hugged me and wouldn't let go, as if that was somehow going to make things better, and it definitely made things worse. And so I had the security take him outside, and he said to me, well, you want to see what I can do? So it wasn't what he said, it's what he did. He went and peed on a fire hydrant. This is a battalion chief. He went and peed on a fire hydrant. That was the first thing that dropped into my mind, because my memory is all crazy.
That's a good answer. That's a great answer for that question.
Yeah, and so he ended up being put in the back of a cop car that night, but turns out they didn't arrest him. They just said, hey, you shouldn't do that again. So he didn't actually get in any trouble.
Oh, well, I don't imagine that other people get that luxury, but hey, nepotism. Yeah. Who's your favorite comic?
Like ever?
Uh-huh. Or I mean, you can classify that however you want.
Dave Chappelle.
That's a great answer. Oh, you've unplugged yourself. No? We have no audio from you. Nope. But you said Dave Chappelle. I heard something being plugged in.
Now?
Yep, there you are.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, so Dave Chappelle, number one. Mark Maron's up there, too.
You know what's funny about me and Dave Chappelle, because we were in the same sentence all the time, is only two people have ever had a DJ, according to the person that told me this, at Punchline San Francisco. And I had my show there in March, and they were like, oh, is your DJ going to sit where Dave's DJ sat? And I was like, Dave who? Because I was like, Mean Dave, David Shapiro, who are they talking about? And they were like, Dave Chappelle. And I was like, yeah, sure, no, that's a thing we do. Like, he has his DJ sit there.
We have that in common.
And then I have my DJ sit in the same place, and then we text each other about it. Like, haha, our DJs were in the same place. It's crazy. So yeah, that's a great answer. Also, an acceptable answer would have been Emma Haney.
She's up there.
Yeah.
No, don't say that just because he's saying.
You're pretty fucking funny,
that.
Emma.
Thank you. I'm going off mic.
Who's your favorite band, Lisa?
All time, the Rolling Stones.
Oh, okay. That is a good one. What's your favorite sex position?
Anyone that gives me an orgasm.
Nice answer.
Emma's back on mic.
Oh, sorry.
I mean, really, like I think when I was younger, I would have said like reverse cowgirl or something like that. But no, anything that gets me off is the best.
No arguments. Oh, I was going to tell Chelsea she didn't have to worry about dating. She could just be a 62-year-old python having sex in a bucket. It just hit me. Anyway, sorry. Do you cook or bake, Lisa?
I cook, and I just recently started learning how to bake, courtesy of Jason B. instructing me.
Right on. Which do you like more?
I think if I were to bake more, I'd probably fall more in love with that because I like baked goods a lot. But I'm trying not to eat a lot of them, so I cook a lot and I enjoy it. So cooking, I guess.
Jason B makes some fucking bread. I've seen it
does.
online.
I've seen the bread too.
That's it. I'm going off mic.
Okay. Yeah, David and I argue because he says cooking is more creative and I say baking is better. So
I think there's more of an art to bake. I mean, well, I don't know if it's an art. It's really easy to fuck up baking, whereas you can cover up mistakes a little better with cooking. But with baking, it's got to be so precise, so it takes some real skill.
yeah, it takes skill. That's what I'm going to tell him. Okay. If we are at the bar and someone's buying us shots, what are we shooting, Lisa?
Goldschlager.
Oh, yeah. That's a good one.
So gross, right?
You killed that one.
Yeah,
I'm in.
rightfully so. I know it's disgusting, but since I was a young drinker, that was always my go-to for some crazy reason. It's disgusting. I know it is.
No, I'm in. Like, I don't tell people this. I'm going to say it on my show, and so people are going to hear it. But, like, if you want to see a really sloppy Suzette Veneti, Fireball, like...
Yeah.
It will like I will go from like strutting in 6-inch stilettos to like just on the floor like I love you in seconds, like just a couple fireballs.
I will say Fireball and Goldschlager for me are my two sloppies. Like,
Yeah.
oh God.
Have
Okay.
you ever had Goldschlager and Jaeger together?
Yeah, and one other. There's some kind of shot that has that and
I know
third
the
one.
shot
I
you're
can't
talking
remember,
about.
but yes, I have.
Well, there's two shots. There's Goldschlager and Jaeger. That's called an oil slick, and then there's Goldschlager, Jaeger, and I think Midori, and I think that's called like a. Yeah, it's that one's not good. I think it's called a Bob Marley.
That sounds horrible.
I don't recommend it. Just Fireball, really, guys. What are you doing? Lisa, if we're at the bar and someone's buying us drinks, what are we drinking?
Vodka sodas. Classy, simple.
If that is good. What kind of vodka though? That's important.
Kettle One.
Okay. I hate when I have guests, usually like a 22-year-old drag queen, and I'm like, what kind of vodka? And they're like, whatever, well is great. And I'm like, oh, child.
It makes a difference.
Child.
It definitely makes a
You're
difference.
going to have hangovers.
Yeah.
Oh, sweet summer child.
Oh, I'm confused. I'm sorry. Important question. Toilet paper, over or under?
Oh, over. Oh my God. And Jason is an under. And it drives me insane.
How do you live
It drives me
together?
insane. I just always have to change it. He's not so into it that he ever changes it back once I fixed it, but I always have to fix it.
You know what's funny is I've found that all the people I ask that question to, every interview guest, I don't mind so much when people say under as when people say they don't care. I want to come through. I want to go through the like the Zoom and like hit them and be like, "What do you mean you don't care? How do you not care which way your toilet paper hangs? How can you be verse? Like what?"
Yeah, it matters.
It
Over
really
all the
does.
way, 100% my whole life.
Who is your favorite drag queen?
You.
Oh, thank you. This is.
It's true. It's
Is
true.
it?
It's you. Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I don't even
No,
know what to say.
I like you're very unique. And now I will say, I have never been super involved in the drag world. I'd like to learn more about it. You've introduced me to a lot of different aspects of it that I didn't know much about before, but I really just like your style. You're a little off center, and you know, like I said earlier, you have like this Courtney Love vibe tonight, but you kind of always do, kind of this like really, I don't know, rock and roll trashy, but like classy at the same time.
Yeah, I'm the hot mess princess. So
And I'm so into that.
that, and I get Sarah Jessica Parker all the time.
Oh my God. Yeah. With
Yeah.
like, with way more lipstick. Yeah.
Well, you know, I keep it classy. So I'm gonna say that you probably don't have a favorite drag king, but
I don't really know of any, but you recommend a good one to me that I should check out.
oh man, there are so many. Nationally, Landon Cider is probably the most famous drag king at the moment.
Landon who?
Landon Cider,
Okay.
like
I wrote
his
it down.
cider. And then I also am a huge fan of Buster Right Open,
What a great name.
an amazing king in San Francisco. I
Okay.
can't wait to do a show with him. And then here in Sacramento, we have a bunch of talented ones. But the current emperor of Sacramento is Ben Flicker. So
Are there, I assume there's way less drag kings than there are drag queens, correct?
yeah, I mean, I don't want to upset anybody, but you know, watching and being like, no, there are tons. But I would say that there are probably more drag queens because it's something that people have been not doing longer, but it's kind of more popular over the course of time. Not
Yeah.
right that it is, not wrong that it is, and drag kings are certainly making a rise.
Yeah, I was
so-
going to ask, is it getting to be more common to find drag kings in that culture?
It is. Landon Cider, the king I mentioned, Landon Cider, he just won Dragula, which is it's a competition. It's not Drag Race with RuPaul, but it's like if you had like Rob Zombie meets
Mhm.
Drag Race, then you'd have the Boulet brothers who do Dragula. So
Okay.
it's fun. It's a good show. You can check it out. And when you're here, I'll definitely have to introduce you some drag kings if
Okay.
you're up here visiting.
Yeah, I'd love that.
Check out Buster Right Open because, like I said, like you can Google videos that he's made during the pandemic, and like I giggle.
Cool.
So okay,
Have it on my list.
let's see. Oh, do you think I'm pretty?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Very.
That's my last rapid fire question. Except, thank you, by the way. When all of this is over and the quarantine is lifted and the pandemic is gone and we have a normal, new normal, old normal, whatever normal, what's the first thing you can't wait to do?
Travel somewhere, anywhere. Probably go back home. I know that's not a really fun, cool answer, but I really miss Charlotte and I want to go see my friends, and I don't feel it's right to fly right now. So I'm putting it off until we have a normal again.
The Queen City, right?
The Queen City. Yep.
Yeah, I need to go take
How did you know that?
Because I know things.
Wow. Yeah.
I just
I didn't
look
think anybody outside of the
vapid.
Queen City knew that.
Oh, no, I just look vapid. Also, anywhere that's called the Queen City, Cincinnati, Charlotte, I just want to take a picture in front of their sign. So,
Yeah.
yeah. Thank you, Lisa, so much. And I can't wait to talk more with you about mental health at some point. And
Definitely.
thank you so much for coming on and reminiscing and telling me things about your career that I didn't know. And I can't wait to see you in person at some point.
I miss you, Suzette, and please tell David hi and give him a big hug and kiss for me.
I will tell him hi. I do not want to kiss him or hug him.
Okay.
But thank you so much. I'll talk to you soon. Love you.
Thank you. I love you. Bye.
Bye. Peers and Queers, that was Lisa Barr, and the information for the charity for Skid Row was beneath her. Rewind a little bit and watch that and contribute to that charity if you would like to, because it means a lot to her, and that means it means a lot to me and to us. And normally, after the interview guest, we go with David Shapiro, but this show is full of compliments, and I don't want him to get any more love. So we're actually going to go with the in-studio presence of Emma Haney.
Hi.
Hi, Emma.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm all right. Do we have Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
We're good.
I don't have a visual. I mean, I'm
Oh,
looking
you
at you.
don't? Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we can just look in each other's eyes and it'll be okay.
Yeah, okay.
People can feel my presence. Trust me. No, I don't know.
Okay. So it's such a treat to have you here. Thank you for being here during the show.
Yeah.
I just like doing the show when there's someone else in the room.
It is. Yeah, that's definitely a thing that's been missing for every single show. So it's nice. We still just got Lisa's room.
We still have Lisa. So what do you host a couple shows here at Stab?
I co-host a couple shows here. Yeah, I do Happy Time Arcade on Sunday and Monday with Jesse, and then I do Animal Gossing on Wednesdays with Becky Lynn.
Cool. So
yeah, that's it.
The Fun Time Arcade. What do you guys usually play?
We've been, I don't know. We usually jump around a lot. Jesse's mic is probably not on. He looks very concentrated.
I gotta handle all this stuff, guys.
I know. But I'm more comfortable when you're here with me.
Right, well, I'm here-ish.
We do a couple different games, mostly like Animal Crossing. We've been trying to get into like the penny games more and like stream games, which he did that last Monday with Alyssa Cowan a lot. And then we did Dream Daddy. Dream Daddy was like the big one that we started with Happy Time Arcade, which I don't know if you watched it.
I did.
But it was ridiculous.
Yeah, Dream Daddy.
We're going to bring that back. We're going to bring it back.
I wish there was a day of the week that I started with D. So you could, I guess, Dream Daddy Day?
I know. That's the thing, because it's like we're going to do Zelda on Mondays. The first Monday. We should make like a Dream Daddy Day, because we have so many dates to get through. We really do.
It's true.
Yeah. But Jesse gets tired doing all the voices. He does all the different voices. I don't do any. So.
Well, I mean, Alyssa just stole all of that thunder
she did.
last week.
She did. With our Zelda stream.
Got all
she
these
did.
clips of Alyssa. I mean, they were ridiculous, and I love them a lot.
Yeah.
But yeah, she just showed up and did some voices for some weird characters, and it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So that's Monday and Sunday.
Sunday and Monday.
Sunday and Monday.
Mm-hmm.
And then Wednesday,
me and Becky Lynn do Animal Gossing, which is an Animal Crossing talk show where we just talk shit about the different residents on our islands, which are fake. They're not real.
Right.
We talk shit about them, and it's fun.
But you do host a comedy show in Animal Crossing that's very real.
I hosted this week.
Okay,
I don't
you
know
hosted
if
this week.
It's Aubrey. I don't know how to say your last name, and I feel terrible because I have a Hispanic last name, but I don't know how to pronounce it.
Well, because you don't want to pronounce it incorrectly.
I don't want to do it wrong, so I don't want to say it at all, right?
Right.
That's the thing.
Aubrey.
Yeah, Aubrey produces most of it. Jesse and I help out. Jesse's doing mostly the improv. The 26th is the next show we have, and that's going to be a mostly improv-based show. But yeah, Haha Horizons, which is the next, that's our Animal Crossing like stand-up improv show that we have, so...
What was it like to host a digital Animal Crossing comedy show?
It's different. I don't know. I've mostly for the past 6 months stayed away from Zoom shows because I'm just like, I'll just wait till comedy comes back and I'll just like come back when there's people and we can do it. But once it hit like 4 months, I was like, I can't not do it anymore. Like at some point you just have to adapt and do it. So it's different. Pretty much you just have to work with like a Zoom room of 5 comics as your audience. And then after that, it's like, that's fine.
Yeah. No, all the comics that I've had on the show, like when this first started, because we started the second
You guys
week,
started pretty soon.
the second week of April, yeah. And like all the comics were like, no, I'm not going to do Zoom comedy. It's not a thing. And so if anyone's been watching the show this whole time, they're like, oh, yeah, I remember that. But like 2-3 months in, people were like, you know what? I'll take it now.
I'll take it, yeah.
I'll do a Zoom comedy. And
It's different because I did to this day, I've done one straight up Zoom comedy showcase. And it was Dan Myers. He does a lot of shows in the Bay Area. He does like Myers Like Fires.
We've talked about Dan Myers on this show because
excellent shows.
He does, but he's also a villain in the Chelsea Miles drinking bad things. Yeah.
Okay, I did not know
He
that.
just put like 500 down on drink the eggs that were soaked in tequila.
I mean, he's a realtor. He's got money to burn.
Yeah.
I've seen his face on signs, but he so he runs his shows. So he just still does like the Myers Like Fires show. I think it's like bi-monthly or bi-weekly he does it. So that was the only real Zoom comedy show that I did. And it was cool, but it's like, it really depends on like your personal setup, because that was before I had like a camera and a mic and a thing to do comedy. So I just did it from my phone with like headphones, and it was super awkward. It's like you're looking at a screen with like all these random people and you're like seeing into their homes and it's kind of weird. So I don't know. It's just, for me, it's like, I'll just stream video games and then wait till comedy comes back. Then, and the Animal Crossing stuff is cool because it's just like you're playing a game and like just spitting your thoughts pretty much. So it's not too bad.
Yeah, no, I mean, I don't think I'm a strong enough comic to do comedy without an audience. Which is, I mean, and then ironically, now I tell a monologue every week, which I feel has made me better.
But you did, yeah, you do it good. I was here for yours, and
Thanks.
I watch this show every week.
Oh,
so
thank
it's
you.
Like, yeah.
I didn't know that.
This is the only difference, is that I'm here instead of at home.
This is amazing.
Yeah.
Next time you're here, you should just co-host or just be the interview guest. No, we've had co-hosts before.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Apple Adams sat in and co-hosted.
Yeah. I like those ones.
Yeah, those are kind of my
fan.
favorites.
Yeah.
Anytime anyone's like in studio, I've had my writers in here before. I have a couple people.
You have writers?
I mean,
Suzette?
they wrote a couple jokes because they punch them up.
Okay.
Yeah. But like today I wrote all the jokes. That's why they were like, meh.
No, I liked them.
Thanks.
Yeah.
But no, they came and hung out one time, and it's like you know you miss an audience, but you don't know. Like, okay, here's a story I've been telling people. One night I wrote the whole, like, because I think my writers, they're my friends. They've just written like probably like 2 or 3 weeks that they'll punch up the jokes, but the rest have been me. And there was one week where I wrote just a ton of jokes. Like, I just wrote, and I felt good about so many of them. And I'm telling them like to the webcam, and then I see in the chat on Facebook, like Clifton and Chelsea were like, ha 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 ha, that's so funny. This is insanely funny.
Yeah.
And like I got this boost. And like afterward, I was like, which joke did you guys like? Should I keep it like when comedy comes back?
Yeah.
And they were like, oh, we weren't laughing at you.
Oh.
We were laughing at something we were talking about. And I was like, oh, you know
Lord.
what? I don't care, because it made me feel good.
Yeah.
Like, it gave me the wind.
Yeah, I don't know. Online comedy is such a weird beast. And it's funny because Chelsea B, the one Zoom show I did, she watched, and then I messaged her afterwards, and I was like, hey, what happened? Because I didn't like bomb, but I didn't do great. And she told me I had no poker face, which I'm like, yeah, I know. So when I know I'm not doing well, it shows that I'm not doing well. And it's just such a weird platform to be on, because you have to really be comfortable with just like talking to yourself, which I can be candidly, but not like stuff that I've written. You know what I mean?
I totally do.
Yeah.
That's
like
why, like I said, that's why I did this, because I was like, I want to perform still, but not.
Exactly. And that's why I've been doing a lot of the streaming stuff here, because it's like, oh, I could just be like off the cuff with Jesse and just like whatever. Yes. And it's like, it still feels like you're kind of getting that like your creative outlet a little bit, but it's not as structured as like a stand-up set would be.
Right. Well, it's really funny because
yeah.
like it's a little bit like open micing, which is something that since I've started comedy, like you'll show up, but like you don't open mic a lot.
Me? Oh yeah, no.
Yeah.
When like
you'll make an
opens back
appearance.
up, I will.
Oh yeah,
for sure.
Because you miss it.
Oh, because it's been like 6 months, and
Yeah.
it's like I've written so much shit in the past, and even with like with Haha Horizons, it's like I did kind of a new set last night, but I could have like worked on it more. But it's like I've written, because I'm used to like Fresh Five, the show I did at Comedy Spot, where I have to write a new 5 minutes every month. So I'm still in that writing habit every month, but it's like I have no outlet for it. So it's just like I'm sitting on all these like shitty premises that I can't work the fat out. You know what I
Right.
mean? So it's just like, when open mics open back up, for sure I'll be going up at them.
I can relate to that so much because, like, and I've also developed such an admiration for people that write like that because I never wrote like that. I just waited for things to happen, like for creepy guys to flirt with me in the grocery store, and then I'll tell that story. But now I'm writing I'm like, okay, what was a joke that I wrote? Oh, Spirit Airlines. So two guys got kicked off of I think it was a Delta flight for not wearing masks. And I was like, yeah, but when they got kicked off, like, officials from Spirit Airlines were there, and they were like, not only do you not have to wear a mask, you can be the pilot. And I was like, that's actually kind of a funny joke.
Yeah.
But, like, I never would have done that without this.
Yeah.
So I think it's good you're already in the habit.
Yeah, the one thing this pandemic has taught me is just degaff. I don't care anymore at all.
Okay, I had to, like, recalibrate because a gaff in drag means a completely different thing.
What does it mean? Tell me.
A gaff is an underwear that holds the penis back
Okay.
and like gives a flat lady
Like
front.
a tucker. Yeah.
Like a tucker. That'd be a good way to say it. So
Okay.
when you were like degaff, I was like, who's degaffing?
Okay, so I have a question for you,
Mm-hmm.
and this might seem kind of random, because a lot of this like pandemic, we're all alone with ourselves, which is like a thing that we realized. I came out kind of later in life, early 30s, late 20s, and I'm starting to discover like other parts of myself. So you were talking about like the drag king thing.
Mm-hmm.
What is that about?
Sure. So I should say that probably a drag king could do a better job explaining it. So
Yeah,
if any are watching
probably.
and they would like to like add
Please
to
give
this,
me tips.
yeah, like reach out and I'll connect you. But a drag king is a woman that dresses up like a man.
Yeah.
So like a drag queen is a man that dresses up like a woman. Also, women can do what's called, there are many different names for it. Some are, words nowadays, some are like the most innocent words can be like cancelable. So it used to be called biodrag, which is where like a woman would dress up like a drag queen.
Yeah.
But you have to like hyper sexualize.
I can't do that.
You don't want to do that.
I'm more towards the masculine.
Yeah.
end.
So if you wanted to be a drag king,
I just want to see it. Yeah.
Yeah. So you should do it first of all. Like when things go back to normal.
Michelle kind of told me that too, but I kind of want to see what it's about.
Okay. Yeah. Well, we can I'll pull up some links after the show, or I'll send them to you. Because there are some, like I was telling Lisa, there are some really great drag kings.
Yeah.
And just like some drag queens, you're like, oh my god, I wouldn't have known that was a man. Some drag queens.
I'm a very big, a supporter of all of that. I don't like promote stuff, and that's not because of any weird reason. It's just like I always watch all of that stuff.
Sure. Well,
because I love it so much.
That's kind of like what I have fun doing in my weird little place where I have one heel in drag and one heel in comedy.
Yeah.
I love what I call cross-pollinating, introducing drag to people that never.
Yeah, because you and I have talked about it, but it's always me who drags my feet, and it's mostly because it's Sundays and I work Monday. I'm off tomorrow. That's why
What are you talking about coming
here.
on the show?
No, I just mean going out before the
to a
weird
drag
end
show.
times
Yeah.
when you were like, oh, Badlands has this thing on Sunday nights. It's like certain nights of the week, but it's like I work, or I used to. Now I work at 7 a.m. on Mondays, so it's not as bad. I used to work at 5, so it's not as bad.
Yeah,
but,
no. So Sidetracks has a Sunday night showcase, which is connected to Badlands.
Yeah.
And then, now at Badlands in the parking lot, we're doing the drag brunch. Yeah,
I need to go. I'm gonna have to cancel D&D for a day and just do that, and then come here after.
On the 27th, we're having a drag king.
I think I'm gonna have to tell JoJo, and then I can come here.
So also, I wanted to find a way to sneak this in here. We actually had a good question from Facebook that maybe either of you two, or I guess me if I think about it, might have an answer from Evan Lilly. Do you think a formula for live/online comedy is already out there, but stand-up comedians are just trying, or are just having a hard time adjusting to it?
Is that for me?
It's
I
for
think
the room.
We'll
The
roundtable
room,
it.
the
Yeah.
room, the
What's your
room.
thought, Emma?
I don't know, man. Honestly, like a lot of stand-up comics are whores for stage time. So it's like they'll find a way to make any kind of like performance that they can get work. I think it really just depends on the comic. Like me, this year is my 10th year doing stand-up. I started in 2010. So it's like I had so much shit planned for this year. It's ridiculous. Like I had a bunch of shit in LA. I had Amazon shit lined up, everything. And then once this happened, it's like everything got canceled, which sucked. And then I was kind of just like, whatever. Like I'll just wait till it comes back because the Zoom stand-up, it's not the same energy. And it's weird. So, and I know a few other comics that are like that in the same kind of boat as that. So it's just like, people just want to work off a certain energy, but a lot of people are just willing to take what they can get.
Well, and I mean, coming from more of the improv side, I personally have found that I haven't had a hard time adjusting to like Zoom prov stuff because, and I think speaking similarly to the feeling of, or to your message about energy and all this sort of stuff. Yeah, it's nice to have a live audience to get the reaction from, but at the same time, I feel like if you're, and this is just my feeling, I could be completely wrong, other people can feel differently, that's fine, but I feel like if, in my case, I'm confident enough that what I'm doing is good, I don't need the reaction in front of me, I know that it's going over at home. So I'm confident that when it reaches people, it's going over. I don't need the instant, immediate feedback.
I can speak for like myself personally. I know I'm a good writer and a good performer. Yeah. But for me to like excel in a lot, like I have to have a live, but I'm also very much like I look at people, I look in people's eyes. I'm not looking like up and away like a lot of stand-up comics do. Yeah. So that's just personally how I connect with an audience. It's like I need people there. I can't look at like a Zoom camera and be like, tell my jokes. Because then but I also have a lot of like weird anxiety issues and that's why. So it's like I can't like not see people and tell jokes. It just doesn't feel like for me as a performer, just authentic in just how I perform.
So I think the way I would answer is I would agree with both of you actually, because if I'm answering Evan's question, does a formula already exist? Yeah. I mean, when comics go on, when they tape specials, they have an audience there, but that material is usually so tight,
it's so seasoned,
seasoned, and so just programmed that they could do that with or without an audience. They want the audience there because it's going to make it more lively. Yeah, but they probably don't need the audience.
No, and that's what sucked. Again, for me personally, right before all this shit started, and when everything closed down, I remember talking to Jesse about this because I had just hit that mark where I was featuring at clubs and like closing out one-nighters. I had just got like my 45 minutes down. And I'm like, hey, I'll do 45 minutes in front of no one here and just record it so I can get it recorded because I had worked so long on getting that 45 minutes just down. And then it's like, fuck, man, this year just kind of fucked that whole thing up, which sucks, but it's like, it's kind of a blessing because then you can just like dump that shit and then write new stuff, but without the open mics and live audiences, for me at least, it's hard.
Well, so that's the other part of what I was going to say is that people can do that formula exists, but it's a different medium, and that's what I've noticed a lot of. Because again, I'm hanging out with comics and drag queens, and I notice a lot of like Miles and Chelsea find a way to do what they do, which is so so crowd what do I want to say? It's so crowd work. It's like, so crowd.
Yeah, they're very much like they feed off just like crowds.
Intensive,
which
it's
is
crowd
so
intensive.
hard. For
Right,
me,
and they figured out how to
personally.
do it on Zoom, and like you figured out something to do where you can still be you and be creative. It's not comedy, it's not the same, but you found like a, I don't want to sound dorky, but like a river, like you found your path, you know? And like I don't know, enough people have said enough nice things about me today that like I don't need to join. But like I did this because I didn't feel like I could do that, so I wanted to keep doing something. Like you have to adapt to the medium.
Well, that's the thing. It's like, especially, and I think that's what a lot of people found with, I mean, and it's funny because it's like, I feel like so many people learned what the word unprecedented means this year because it's such a weird time.
Right.
But as a performer, especially, it's like, you got to find your niche, one of those, whatever, niche. And like, with me personally, it was like I fucking made stupid cell phone videos when I was working at FedEx, and then someone gave me the nickname Haney-ep, and I would just throw that in and like just talk to people about what things, you know what I mean? You got to like find your avenue of what's going to work to stay relevant. Because it's like anyone can do a Zoom show and just throw your fucking jokes out there and be whatever. But if you can find something like where most people are stuck at home and they want like something different to watch, you know what I mean? You just got to be different than what everyone else is trying to do.
It's not just about staying relevant. It's also just like, again, like using a lame euphemism, but like keeping your tools sharp. Like, you know, we've had an episode where we had like at least I get yelled at by my friends, but at least after the fact, we had like 200 views because we had a doctor on. We talked about COVID. You saw that. So like that had a lot of views, and we have some episodes where I don't know, we might only have 7, but we're still here and we're still doing it and we're still using this outlet.
Just putting the content out, yeah.
But the other thing I was gonna say is I've noticed in the drag world, and by the way, I want to say Aubrey's last name is Zavalos.
Thank you.
Yeah, I messaged
She
her.
knows because I've said that to her before, but it's like I don't want to fuck it up and be
That's
that
how
bitch,
I would have said. But then,
I mean?
well, I would have said it because like I just go bold and I'm usually
it's
right.
like my legal last name is Castellanos, but no one can say it ever.
Castellanos.
Like, Castellanos. Just when they look at how it's spelled, because there's 2 L's and they're like Castellanos. I'm like, no, that's not how you do it.
You know, I hate. This is a joke I don't get to tell. I hate Vallejo because I'm like, you can't be Vallejo. Like you can't be half correctly pronounced in Spanish and like half not.
Half not.
Like
yeah.
either be Vallejo or Valley Joe. But like, what's this Vallejo?
Vallejo.
Like, get out of here. No, but like, so in the drag world, all the shows, obviously, like comedy, went live. Like they went on streaming. And at first, queens were like just performing live in front of a camera. And some were better than others.
Yeah.
And then people were like, oh, I can make a video and submit it. And still, some are just people performing, you know, in a stationary place. And it's... the right queen, it's amazing still. Right?
Yeah.
But like, just like I can't do live comedy like on Zoom, I couldn't perform sitting in a chair in a live. So like,
different.
We've been making full on music videos, like with cuts and like scenes and sets and effects and costume changes.
Yeah.
And like that's, to me, that's a good use of the medium of acknowledging. Or like if I was gonna do a live performance in drag, like in my kitchen, instead of dancing like I was in a club, I would just like pull out some bread and peanut butter and jelly and make a sandwich while I was lip syncing.
Yeah.
Because like that'd be kind of fascinating.
And
to me.
it's more like it connects more.
Right. It acknowledges like
Yeah.
it's not pretending that we're in a world we're not.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, no, we're in COVID. That's why I'm making a peanut butter and jelly
and
sandwich.
just singing in my kitchen. Yeah.
Yeah. And like I'm singing Gaga and I'm making a fucking peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
Yeah.
Deal with it.
I know.
Well, there was, and I think I haven't watched a lot now, so I don't know if this still carries over. I know people with improv have been trying different things, like with camera setups and backgrounds and incorporating stuff. We got the regular exclusive blend show was basically the first thing that we did after
everything started.
After we shut down, and it was like one of the best, just technically good improv shows that I've even, even done, and it was all of us sitting in a chair.
And I think that just speaks to improvers as performers in general, that they are so good at being off the cuff and working with what they have.
Well,
you know what I mean? That it's just like, I'm not gonna say every, most improv shows that I have watched that have been Zoom or online now are leagues better above any stand-up show.
Well, that was
I've
also part of the
watched.
point too, is that I was like, and speaking sort of to your point of using the medium better, I was seeing like really experienced, really good improvisers being locked into, oh, we're doing a Zoom a phone call scenes. No, why would you have to? It's about pretend. So why does it matter if we're not in the same
That's
place?
what I've
We can
seen
be in
too,
the
is
same
a lot
scene.
of like improvers were like, oh, we're in a Zoom meeting.
Yeah,
it's like,
no.
no, don't play to that.
It's all in our mind anyway,
But
so it
that's
doesn't
like-
matter that we're right,
It's
not
like,
next to each
okay,
other.
last night's show, Michelle's show,
Yeah.
my
Scene
lady
Kids,
friend's
Michelle
show,
last night, yeah.
Scene Kids. That was such a good improv show, and no one played to the fact that there was a Zoom involved at all.
Yeah, it's gotten
it was-
farther away from that.
It has, and it's so great that after like 6 months of that show not being around, that shit did not miss a beat, and just like the performers were so on and so good.
And some of them haven't really done anything. And there was a question when we were getting set up. So are these Zoom scenes?
Yeah.
No, we live in a fucking world of make believe anyway. Why not be in the same space?
And that works for
That's always-
improvers. Stand-ups, I think, have to play to the Zoom a bit just to make it funny, because you can't do like scripted material when you're looking at a computer screen with 9 people and you can see in their fucking houses. You know what I mean? It's like it doesn't play as well.
No, so one of my friends she just started like in the midst of the pandemic. She just started going to the open mics in the parks and doing comedy.
Yeah.
And so I was telling her the other day, like, because we were at a park and like people are walking by, and I'm like, look, if something weird happens, you gotta address it.
Yeah.
Doing stand up, and so that's one way that like you do have to be, even like, I'm gonna sound like such an awful person
No,
here. I
just do
don't
it.
necessarily
You're fine.
like character comics
Caricatures?
comics that are characters. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not about that life.
Yeah.
Moving on. So, but yeah, like, but even then, like, even if you're a fantasy character telling jokes, you still have to acknowledge the
You have
world
to
you're
stay
in.
in the now
Yeah.
a little bit to make it relatable a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, because it's like, this is the way I told her. Like, if you're doing a show at a venue and you're booked, and like there's a mural behind you and it has a big red dog, and nobody talks about it all night. The audience is seeing it all
Seeing
night.
it the whole
At
night,
some point,
yeah.
somebody has to go up and be like, "Hey, I'm doing jokes in front of fucking Clifford," like, because everyone's looking. So like the minute you address it, then people are free to focus on you.
Yeah. But that's something people don't learn for a while.
Oh shit, I know a thing.
Yeah, that's a thing. I mean, I can say that I didn't learn for a while, and I started in stand-up in like the shittiest rooms. Like, they didn't have all this shit on the grid down here like they do now when I started. You know what I mean? So you're in Folsom or Roseville or like down off Fulton in like shitty ass dive bars, and that's where open mics were.
I got lucky.
Yeah, you did. You
Yeah.
did.
I actually love, like, I ask all my comics, like, what's your favorite venue? And a lot of them are from out of town, so they haven't had a chance to perform here.
Oh, really?
But I love the open mic here at Stab.
Stab's open mic is good.
It's
yeah.
Luna's has always been my historic favorite.
Luna's is good, but it's never fun. It's never fun to not know when you're going up and to have to
Right.
sit there all night. Especially like personally, it's like I used to work at like 5:30 in the morning, and it's like I'm not gonna come here at 7:30, sign up, and not go up till 10. Like that's
or like
crazy.
the rare time that like you're just skipped, which I mean Jamie and Mike do a great job running it, but like accidents happen.
Yeah.
So like if you sit there all night and then you don't get to go up, that sucks.
That sucks. Yeah.
And I mean, I haven't been to Touch a Class, but like David likes
Touch
it.
a Class is cool.
That's probably the best open mic.
I have eaten ass there so hard.
Everybody has.
Yes, but I made it a goal to do well there. So I bombed ass the first time I went up. I ate shit the second time I went up. The The third time I went up, I fucking killed, and then I never went back there to perform again.
That's how a lot of comics treat it.
Yeah,
like
it's
a
like
mountain.
once you
Like, I
conquer that
climbed it.
room, that's it. I mean, I've gone there to watch since then, but I haven't performed there.
But like those three, I would say those three to me are the most useful mics from what
Which
I've
ones?
seen.
Luna's
Touch. Here,
Touch.
Touch, and here at Stab. Because
Yeah.
like I call it the feedback that I get from the audience. Like
it's the most honest feedback that you'll get at an open mic.
I get useful feedback. Like if like Comedy Spot's a great room and like it's fun or whatever, but
It
like,
is, but it's a paid crowd.
It's-
and
well,
it's
they-
not good unless they have, that's shitty to say, but unless they have students in the class that are graduating, there's not a shit ton of people there. So
well,
it's like,
even if there are, like they're I don't feel like they're actually listening to me. Like I feel like they're there for someone else.
Yeah,
or they're there for
that's-
themselves.
yeah.
No one's actually listening to what I'm saying. I'd rather do a show there, but like I'd rather do a show here
well,
than there.
Suzette, you gotta grab them into what you're saying.
What?
You just gotta ring them in.
Well, that's something
to
I
what
gotta
you're
learn.
saying.
I'm not there yet.
You're there. I
don't
think you're
know.
there.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, you just grab them with one line that's like fucking outlandish and ridiculous, and they're listening to you after that.
Okay, I'm gonna make a note.
Yeah, put
not
it in
now.
your. I see you have your your little thing.
I got my little Chromebook.
Yeah.
No, but like I like doing the open mic and shows here. Like I've had one of my best shows. Actually, Aubrey was telling me, she was like, I've seen you do comedy, and I was like, oh no, where? And she was like, oh, the Token Straight Friend show at
Oh
Stab.
yeah.
And I was like, oh, that was one of my best shows ever. Because Jason Anderson packs it, and there were like 40 people in here. And which is crazy to think about now because there's 3 of us and it feels full. But there were 40 people in here, and it was just the energy was electric. And like I was talking with Lisa about what it's like to have 50 or 100 people in a 240 person room. Having 40 people in Stab is like having 200 people.
I think my favorite show last year that I did, I think it was last year, was was that good? And I fucked up his name the night that he booked me for the show here, the magician show that was here. Oops.
Oh, yeah.
Kevin? No, Kyle.
Littleton, yeah.
Yes, Kyle Littleton had a show here where it was a mix of like stand-up comics and magicians.
Who
and
mixes
that was
comics with other mediums?
I don't know, smart people. But that was one of my favorite shows I did last year, and that was here, and he sold it out, which is like whatever for this theater. I don't remember how many people were here, but it was packed, and it was like all of the shows that I've done here, even the ones that are like, because we did like Digimon, Must Love Digimon is like the podcast we did here. I do Warm Takes, or I used to do that here. It's just such a like warm environment that's so inviting that it's like even a fucking small show here is kick ass. Like it's crazy.
It really like I that's why I love it here because like and Jesse has been letting me
Jesse's
a couple Jesse's great. He's been letting me and a couple of my drag queen friends do our Fierce, Fresh, and Fabulous show, and that's always just so much fun in here
with your little baby.
Yeah, and like we had one today at brunch who just turned 21. So like the show is because they're not 21, and we had one who now she can actually perform at Badlands because she's 21. But like the comedy show, even an open mic with like 2 people here, it feels
different,
useful. Like I feel like I get something out of it. I don't know how we got to this topic. Or
I don't know either, but we migrated here and it's fine.
I like it.
This is what people pay to listen to, is just the behind the scenes.
Probably.
So.
Like a podcast where you have 10 years and me of 3.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what was the world like, Emma Haney?
This place, and it's like with everything that's gone on, I like to come here because it feels different. It's cool. It's just like a small space. The community, for what it is very tight knit, and it's neat. You know what I mean? It's like you can workshop here and it feels good. And Jesse's cool, and you can tell like as an owner who cares about what the fuck is going on here, which makes a difference, who isn't like just in it for like the weird big shit of things. I don't know if that makes sense. It probably doesn't. But if you know what I mean, it's like
I think so.
It's a tight-knit place that's cool to work on shit, and there's an owner that gives you the space to do what you want, which is what you want as a creative outlet.
And the ability
So
to
it's
kind of
cool.
fall down, too.
Yeah.
Like, I wasn't scared starting the show that Jesse would be like, oh, you had one show where you only had 5 viewers, canceled.
Yeah.
And, like, I you know, there's a chance to grow.
Well, and that's the thing. It's like, so as an example, with a different theater here, and I'm not talking shit about whatever, I ran Fresh 5 at Comedy Spot for like 2.5, almost 3 years. They jerked me around a lot, which was weird because as a 10:30 show, I had a regular audience that came in, but it was like, that's the kind of place, or not saying that that's the kind of place, but it's the kind of place that based on how many tickets you sell is based on if your show sticks around, which is shitty for stand-ups, and I think is why there weren't at the time when things were open a lot of stand-up shows that were regular there, because it's like you can't build a consistent audience
You need
with
time.
that kind of stuff. You have to have time to build that
almost.
up.
If it's a monthly show, you almost need a year.
If it's a monthly show that's just a showcase with no kind of niche going into it, you know what I mean?
Right.
It's like, oh, I got a stand-up show where it's like 6 comics and we go up and do it. It's like, okay, well, that's just like a regular stand-up show, and it's going to take a long time to build an audience for that, for it to be profitable.
I'd
for the
say a
venue.
year. Like, it easily would be a year.
Yeah.
Because like we had even brunch. Like, we had a show with Anish. We did brunch at Punchline, and I knew it would take a year to get a consistent. Because people say like, oh, I want to go, but like I'll go next month.
Yeah.
Because I'm busy this time, and that
well,
happens.
and I used to produce a monthly show at Punch, and that shit can get daunting when it's like even a Tuesday night where it's like you have to meet this much at the door, where I'm like, fuck. And then it's like, but you have to meet this much at the bar, and then you're like, fuck, because it's 2 different price points that you have to meet. You know what I mean? So it's, and I'm not saying like, and Stab's cool because it doesn't have that, but it's cool that you have more of the freedom to do what you want and make cultivate a show that's like creative and different, but not be like, fuck, it's going to be canceled after a show if it doesn't do well.
Right. Well, I mean, this kind of bringing everything we've been talking about like together. A show that I really liked that I used to produce. I think you went once, and I think you were there one time when it got canceled because nobody showed up at Luna's. It's the
Which
shoe
one?
show.
Oh yeah.
Where so it started as other comedians being like, I want to tell jokes in drag, and I'd be like, okay. And so we did that, and then we started having women comedians like dress up either as men or as drag queens.
I remember that, yeah.
And then like we started bringing in, the last one we did, we had a couple of drag queens try comedy, because like you don't get the chance as a drag queen to try comedy.
Yeah.
And so it was so cool for them to actually try it. And it's such a, like, what's the word I want to use? It's such a forgiving atmosphere.
Yeah.
Because like we're all doing something that night outside of me, and I'm a hot mess, but we're all doing something that night that like we're not good at.
Yeah.
And so the audience is like there for it. Like, yeah, learn, figure this out. We're here for you.
Yeah. Which is great.
Yeah.
And when you can get a show like that and produce a show like that, it's awesome. And from the performer's standpoint, it's great. Because I've been on shows like that are like tester stand-up comedy shows with like something that's different, or you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Where you can just do something that's like loose and like not in the norm of how things normally work.
Right.
And it's cool.
Well, yeah, and I gave the camera a wink when I said, who mixes stand-up comedy with something? Because obviously I do.
Yeah.
I have a show with drag queens and comedians in non-COVID times where like they perform like interspersed.
I
and
did one show.
You've done that show.
Yeah.
And it was fun. You were great.
It's great. I love all that shit. I'm so for it.
Right
and
on.
mostly like being through this like weird pandemic of a time, when I go back, because I work a full-time job, like, and I have for like fucking 15 whatever years. I work at FedEx. So it's like taking those 6 months off and seeing how much money I've saved when I've done stand-up. Probably 2 years after when I started at FedEx. You know, so I've been at FedEx 12 years. I've done stand-up 10 years. But just to see in 6 months how much money I saved, when I get back into it, it's like, I'm going to do open mics and do all my shit. I'm only picking shows that I really believe in and that have like a good message and a good, you know what I mean? It's like, I'm just going to be better about picking my shit.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and that's interesting because like you mentioned comics earlier who just want the time.
Yeah.
But
I'm so past that
I mean,
for myself.
But it's important to note that like you can be past it. You know?
Yeah. Well, once you find your voice and what you're trying to do, or not what you're trying to do, but how you say it, like it's easy for me to say as a person that's been doing it almost a decade, and like I can think of a premise, write a joke, know in the cadence that I'm going to say it, and not say it at an open mic. I could test it at a real show. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you can open mic at a show.
Yeah, there's that, and that's just me personally. It's like,
well, but I'm thinking more like. So I don't. this is not me complaining. Like I am very lucky.
It is.
No, it's not. But like, I don't get booked in a lot of shows that aren't mine.
Yeah.
So if anyone slides me a show, I'm like, yeah, okay, cool. Where, when?
Well, didn't you do warm takes here?
Mm-mm.
You haven't done warm takes. Okay,
Oh no, I
you
did.
can do
I
warm
did
takes.
once. I did once because I was here.
Yeah.
And yeah. So okay, so I did that. My bad.
I'm just throwing myself in there to not seem shitty. It's fine.
No one. But that's the thing. Like, I produce a lot, and producing is hard. Like,
It's
people
hard.
think it's so easy. Like, that could be a whole nother like 2 hours where you and I talk about like how hard it is because it's so hard.
Well, we mentioned that in our Happy Time Arcade thing today as we were talking about, because I want to do a show that's like a workshop show with jokes, or a workshop show. So I have 2 other comics and we come to the table with like whatever, like 4 or 5 premises that we have. And then I asked Aubrey if I'm like, well, you could be on it too. And she's like, oh, I don't know. I feel like I'm more of a producer. And it's like, yeah, I feel like a lot of, not her specifically, because when she was fairly new to comedy before all this shit hit the fan and she started performing at shows and doing shows, Aubrey's super funny. Should keep doing stand-up. I think she's really, like, her joke writing is really good. Her performance, her stage presence is really good. But some comics don't know when they're only producers, which is a problem.
So
you know what I mean?
You think more comics should just be producers?
I think because it's like it takes a certain person to produce a show.
Mm-hmm.
Some comics are super good at producing shows. They're very good at networking and all of that stuff. But then they're missing like the performance aspect. You know what I mean? But they can't recognize that. And if more of those people were producing shows, which they could produce super good shows, and then, you know what I mean?
I do, because I fear that's me sometimes. Like,
No,
like real
I think
talk,
you're pretty
vulnerability.
funny.
Thank you.
You have good jokes and stuff.
I appreciate that, but
And
like,
you're only, what, you said like 3 or 4 years?
yeah, somewhere between there.
And that's, you don't
does
hit your
COVID
stride
count?
till like 5 or 6.
That's so funny, you know, because I know that.
Yeah.
That's like a rule in comedy. I should look at the viewers every once in a while. So like a rule in comedy is that you don't find your voice until you're like 5-10 years in.
Yeah.
And I was actually talking with Apple Adams today because she's like, she and Taryn and Helen have become like my mentors, right?
Yeah.
Especially because like we've been doing this show now in a pandemic.
Yeah.
And Apple has been from the start.
I just like the resident on my island, Apple, whom I love. I love Apple.
Yeah, she's amazing.
Yeah.
And we were talking and she's, I've always said like, and it's kind of a joke, an inside joke. Like I'm 2 years behind where whatever she did 2 years ago, I'm just figuring out. And it's not always accurate, but it's sometimes it is. And today was my 100th, so like I keep track, and like I know when my 100th like stand up set was.
Yeah.
And today was my 100th drag number.
Yay.
Like, and I was so unhappy with the first, like, because we do 2 shows, same numbers.
Yeah.
And like I just it was like that's 100, like 100 of these, and that's what I did. And Apple like gave me like she's my drag aunt, and she gave me like the best like niece aunt talk.
Yeah.
And she was like, look, it takes, this is honest what she said. She was like, it takes 3 3 years for you, and I was like, "Mwah, I know
It's-
I'm doing 3
that's-
years," and she was like, "But really, it's 5 to 6 years."
That's real shit though, and I feel like that's any performance.
Yeah.
Like depending on what you're trying to do. I can only speak to stand up,
Mhm.
but I know because I never took a class. I never did any.
I don't
of
think
that.
that's necessary.
It's not for stand up. It is not necessary to take a class. I think
You learn
stand-up
doing it.
classes are cheating people out of their money a little bit.
I think it handicaps you.
It
Whether or not
does.
it cheats you, it
It
handicaps
does
you because
that's a thing that you have to just go and experience.
you have
yourself.
to fall.
Exactly.
You have to fall down.
bomb. You
Like,
have
I-
to do all that
Oh my
shit
God,
to be
like-
successful.
I have bombed so hard in stand up and in drag, and I remember not wanting to feel like that.
Yeah.
But no, what I was gonna say was, so Apple said, like, it was almost the same conversation I've had with comics. She was like, "Look, when you're like 5-6 years in, you start to figure out who you are and
Yeah.
what you can give the audience." And I was like, "You find your voice?" And she was like, "Yeah." And I was like, "Oh my God, it's the same world."
It is. It's the same. Yeah. It takes so long, and people think they can shortcut it, and you can't. It's the closest you can be for stand up to being how you are off stage to how you are on stage. That's the ticket.
Yeah.
And
No, I'm
that
trying.
took me personally 5 years
Right.
to be comfortable enough to just be the same person either way.
It's not like, it seems like it'd be so easy, like, just be yourself on stage, and like,
But it's way harder.
it's daunting as
you.
fuck. Like,
Yeah.
it's so hard. And like, drag is the same. Like, it's so hard. Like, just since you have an interest in it, like,
I want to do drag. I'm looking at Jesse. I don't know why. I'm still buzzed. I want to do the drag king thing so bad. And it is a thing that I have looked into for like the past couple years. But
I
I'm
mean-
like, I have really big tits, so I don't know
No.
if I could pull
you look, you have no idea. Some of the best drag kings I know have huge tits,
Yeah.
and you
The
don't
best
know.
ones.
You-
No,
well, I
don't
mean,
know.
some of the great ones don't have huge tits, but like, it's
Yeah.
just a fact that like, it's you got to tuck something in drag,
Exactly.
and sometimes it's easier for some people, and sometimes it's not as easy.
Yeah.
And like, putting your boobs somewhere in drag is a thing.
I don't know where I mean, Suzette, I don't know where they're going to go.
I could tell you. I will wait till we're off camera because I don't want to
Okay.
embarrass myself with my lack of. But I'm not a drag king. Like, I've never done drag king, so like, forgive me. We're here for your tips. You want to send tips in for Emma? Like that.
Yes,
Could,
tell
that
me
could be a
where to
whole
put
show, like
them.
the drag king education of your name.
I want that is a thing that I've been very interested in trying.
Okay, so I
doing.
just want to put it out there. Like, I am not the best, but I am here to help you.
I mean, you could be a middle man lady.
Yeah, I'll be
Middle
a middle
drag.
I'll be
you
a,
can be a middle drag.
I'll be
for
a middle
me.
drag.
That's
It
fine.
sounds like we're in Dungeons and Dragons.
It
talk.
does.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I played today.
In middle drag, they had 6 webbed toes, and they could swim very well because they were duck-billed platypuses. No, but like, you know, it's really interesting because I just had, every time I have a queen on, we end up getting into a conversation about like drag families, and the thing is, like, a lot of people try to force it. Like, they'll find like the most amazing performer, and
Yeah.
be like, "Be my drag mom," and like that, like Apple, like I know Apple gets "Be my drag mom" like
Yeah.
27 times a day,
I
right?
could
And
see it.
it's just like my advice, and I talked about this with my friend Honey LeBronx, whose drag mom actually won Drag Race.
Oh shit.
Bob the drag queen.
Yes.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
my friend is Bob the drag queen's drag daughter,
Oh shit.
and like, she didn't ask for that. Like, she just was like, "Hey, I want to do drag. Can I watch you? Can
Yeah.
I learn from you?" And eventually, like, so like, I'm not saying like I could be a drag parent. I'm saying like, I will be a middle drag.
Yes.
And,
Find
like,
me my drag dad.
Well, that's what I
Please.
was gonna say. That's not the objective. The objective is to just have fun,
Yeah.
and
no, I
eventually,
know.
like, maybe you'll find one.
I just I haven't seen a drag king show
So
before live.
there
and that's
is a-
what I want to go see.
There is a regular one, non-COVID times, exclusively
Yeah.
drag kings. It's at Sidetracks.
Okay.
So
I know where that is.
Yeah. Well, I could go with you. Like, I could take
Yeah.
you. So that's there, and right now, like I said, a lot of kinks excuse me, a lot of I'm usually like home and in bed by now.
I'm
a
sorry.
No, it's okay. A lot of kings are like, this is fun. I like it. A lot of kings are doing digital stuff. And so you could watch
Yeah.
that. I don't know how it'd feel. Like if I was a new performer, I don't know if that would be too
Helpful.
daunting. Yeah.
I feel like it would be helpful just to see. I mean, I could see.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we'll have to look into it. But
Yeah.
there's so much that like, there's so much I could tell you. And then there's so much more that I don't even know.
Yeah.
So I will definitely, I would like to, like, can I be your sponsor?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
I'm not doing shit except for anything that I do here. So
All
we're
right,
good.
cool. Yeah. Do we have any other questions?
No, it's just Peach and Aubrey being all about supporting Emma's king goals. So they're all about it.
Do you know what name you'd want?
What name I would want?
Yeah.
No.
You don't have to.
I don't know.
A lot of drag performers change their name like.
Yeah, I know that.
3 or 4
I just
times.
don't have a name I would pick.
Okay, so here's a question. Do you know like what your aesthetic would be, or what like would you be like a goofy king? Would you be like a sexy king?
No,
would
it'd
you
be
be serious?
sexy for sure.
Sexy.
I don't know. I can't look at anybody in this room and talk about what I would want to be. Because
I'm
it's
also
pretty
putting
much
you on the
just-
spot on camera.
No,
like,
and it's fine. I don't give a fuck about that. So as a drag queen, your performance, do you pick an artist that you follow to emulate? Or
So yes and no. So first of all, I should say that I notoriously identify as a drag princess.
Yes, I
Because
could
like
see
when
that.
you see like Taryn, like do you know Taryn?
Yes.
Taryn is a queen. Like
Yeah.
Taryn can style wigs, make clothes, set up an event, like do the
Mhm.
sound, show up, host the show, like read people, introduce people, perform, close it out, and then like make sure everyone goes home safe. Like
Yeah.
I am not. If that's a queen, I am not a queen.
Okay.
But so okay, to answer your question, I think you do and you don't. Like so, Taryn and Apple love Pink. Like everyone knows that. This isn't a secret.
Yeah.
And they do Pink songs so well. I never thought that I would like. A lot of people see me and they're like, "Oh, Britney Spears," and I'm like, "Okay, I'm not mad about it." Like,
Yeah.
and then I also get like a lot of Christina Aguilera.
Okay.
So, but like, those are so different. Like,
Mm-hmm.
to be Britney, I'd have to be a dancer.
Yeah.
Like, to be Christina, I guess I just have to look like I'm really belting a song. And ironically, I did
You
Christina
can.
Aguilera today.
Yeah.
But it comes down to, performance and, like, what are you good at?
Okay.
So,
If I think of songs, I don't know. Are we going too long? I don't even know anymore. I didn't
We've
get
had
a
a
light.
3-hour
I didn't get a
episode.
long. I didn't get a light of sorts. Whenever I have thought about if I was going to perform something in a costume or in a performance kind of way, and this is going to sound hella weird, but they're always Roy Orbison songs.
okay.
But I feel like that's a thing with drag queen or kings that I've seen.
It's
Always like that 1950s, 1960s kind of performer.
well, so
or
I
70s,
right
whatever.
now in Sacramento, there's a lot of like My Chemical Romance.
Yeah, I'm not. I mean,
What's the other one? You gotta have high hopes for the,
Oh,
that. What's that group?
I don't know.
Panic at the Disco.
There
Panic
you
at
go.
the Disco, right?
Jesse's
And that's not
so quick.
bad. I'm not saying like that's bad and Roy Orbison is good. I'm not saying Roy Orbison.
That's
it's-
just me
it's-
personally
right,
with the music.
It's
and
what are
that's
you
what
gonna?
I
That's
like.
if I've learned anything, it's what are you gonna connect to,
Yeah.
and what are you gonna be able to sell, right?
Yeah.
Like, and if you can sell Roy Orbison,
I can
then
because I
do it.
practiced it so many times at home,
'Cause
which is so weird for me, but whatever.
No, it's not though. That's the thing. Just like talking, just like and we talked. I'm gonna address the audience again, just because I feel like I should. We talked a little bit about mental health before the show started, Emma and I, and like then Lisa and I talked about it, and we need to desensitize and
Yeah.
regulate talking about these things, and also like if I can do anything, I would love to help. Like, I certainly won't be the one mainstreaming drag like that's happening with or without me.
Yeah.
But like I would like to explain to people that at least want to know from me, and maybe I can give them resources. So I would say, like, that's not weird at all. Like, to practice Roy Orbison in your room, like,
It's all 1950s or 60s solo male singers that I prefer.
Okay, so this is what's lame. I have on my phone, 'cause Google Music changed to YouTube Music, and so there's like, I have like 70 playlists.
Yeah.
Right? And some of them are just like songs that I would suggest to a king because I think this would be a really cool song. Probably like 40% are like 50s and 60s.
I feel like because they're very emotional.
They're very
and
emotional.
that's why.
They're like,
as a woman, I'm like, yes.
They're like,
I don't know.
They're like Beach Boys emo.
Uh-huh.
And you're
Yes.
like, wow, this speaks to like my summer soul. I don't know how to say that, but like,
I agree. Yeah.
And I mean, again, like if you want to do, you know, Coldplay, or you want to do
No.
Panic at the, not you,
Oh,
but like
yeah.
somebody else wants to do Panic at the Disco, or you want to do Lil Dicky, like do
Lil
it.
Dicky.
Like knock yourself out. Like do that if that's what's in your heart.
Yeah.
Because I find that more than an artist, I like songs. Like anytime I do a song about like a breakup, like I sell it.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but like even if I don't think I'm selling it, the audience feels it.
Yeah. A breakup song, Roy Orbison crying, is a very good breakup song.
Look, you're talking to the right person.
I'm sorry. I feel like we have to wrap this up.
We
I don't
probably
know.
should, 'cause we're
I'm
on Roy
reading body
Orbison.
language from across the room. No, that's just me being anxious.
No, I think probably we just lost everyone on Roy Orbison because I could nerd out about Roy Orbison for hours.
He's great.
He is great.
Y'all tripping. Like, go
I'm not-
look
no,
him
I'm
up.
not.
No, I'm
They
talking.
are.
I'm talking into the camera right now.
So you guys should look up Roy Orbison.
So good. Pretty
yeah.
Woman.
Right?
Crying.
I think
There's a bunch of songs.
I think okay, all right. We should probably end the show.
Yeah.
And then we can talk more about this off camera.
Yeah.
But that was the show. I do want to say to the audience, join us next week. It's a big episode. We have the Sacramento Queen of Queens, Taryn Through You, going to be in studio co-hosting with me. Maybe you know what? I'm not. I'm going to be real. I know Taryn. I don't think she can sit here and not co-host with me because we're going to have too much fun. She could absolutely sit back and let me fumble through this on my own. But she's too great a friend and a performer. And so it's going to be too much fun. So she's at least going to be my guest. The rest is up in the air. This is going to be on September 20th at 5:03, I think safely we can say p.m. So join us then. Thank you to Lisa Barr. Thank you to Clifton. Thank you to Chelsea. Thank you to me and Dave. Thank you, Emma Haney. Thank you, Jesse. Thank you, viewers, for sitting with us on this episode. Very weird, special, sushi-filled episode of Suzette Veneti Show. We'll see you next week.
Shit, and ooh, I love it. I love it. Yeah, yeah. Stumbling, but yeah, you're still looking hella fine. Keep doing what you're doing, and we'll make it mine. Well, you're a hot mess, and I'm falling for you. And I'm like, hot damn, let me make you my boo. 'Cause you can shake it, shake it, shake it. Yeah, you know what to do. You're a hot mess, I'm loving it. Hell yeah. Hot mess, and I'm falling for you, and I'm like, hot damn, baby.
I'm gonna send you folk over to. Let's see. How about Comedy Hub has Liz Stone apparently on tonight, so that'll be a thing. Let's see if we can get you there before she's already gone up and down. Oh, she's up right now. Shit. Let's get you guys over there. Try and catch the, like, I don't know how much of it is left. Right now. Right now, go.
I've listened to preachers. I've listened to fools.